Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good, good.
Good.
Um, I saw the Batman, but I don't know if anybody wants me to not talk about it.
I
I'm
didn't
seeing it
see it yet.
tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's too soon to talk about it, I guess.
But what do you think
My
of it?
only sorry, I was just gonna say my only question is a stylistic one because people keep on Twitter keep saying it's like David Fincher or something. I don't know how true that is.
It's more Finchery in like its basic premise, I guess, than it is in its style.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
I'll find out tomorrow.
But what score do you give it? The Batman movie. So
A very reluctant 6 out of 10. Like if I don't know, like if I I'm giving it a 6 instead of a 5 because it looks really nice. Like it's really well shot. But if it wasn't really well shot, I would give it 5.
so you didn't really like it?
It was too long. It was too
Talking
long
about the
and
Batman?
I'm not going to say anything specific about it. All I'm going to say is like it's very, very one note throughout the entire film in such a way that does not really you'd think a movie that's like 3 hours would have a lot of different things or different feelings going on, but it's really just like one note the entire time for 3 hours, and you feel the length. Well, I did anyway. Some people didn't.
I thought it flew by personally.
Yeah.
I did not feel the runtime. Yeah.
Like you're watching a good movie if a 3-hour movie feels 2 hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
A lot of people had that experience. That's what I think Stuckman said, that it felt like 2 hours. I was just
Can
like,
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Just checking.
Yeah, I was just
And like
I was getting
Charlie
impatient with it.
Charlie from Moist Critical really liked it as well. I mean, I think
Everybody
this is
likes
the first I think this is the first like Matt Reeves movie I'm actually kind of excited to see because I'm not really interested in Cloverfield. I'm not interested in any of the Planet of the Apes movies he did. I'm not interested in Let Me In, but I am interested in this one because it seems really unique and interesting. You know, how
It is his best movie. I just don't like his movies.
Yeah.
I didn't know he did Let Me In.
I know, right?
That's funny.
And
I should make a sequel. Let Me Out. Get me out of here.
Get me out of here! Help me!
So
I didn't do anything.
I wanted to ask you is like, as soon as I heard you guys were going to talk about the Passion of the Christ and the Last Temptation of Christ, I was interested if you guys were planning on reading out loud Roger Ebert's review of the Passion of the Christ.
I looked it up. I understand what he said.
Did you actually finish it? Because it's on Amazon
The
Prime.
Passion?
I got I got like 30 minutes into it. One scene made me laugh, but like it was really painfully like.
I always finish the podcast movies, even if sometimes I watch them in 2 times speed.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean it in like. I didn't mean it that way.
audio
I was, like, kind of
for the impaired or whatever. Didn't you do that for review?
Yeah.
Looking over Ebert's review for The Passion of the Christ, I think it would at least be interesting to go over the way you guys went over Ebert's Taste of Cherry review.
I don't know. I'm gonna mention Ebert's review, but he doesn't really say much about the movie. He just says about
he
just kind of goes off on like
a lot about it.
From what I
review like
from what I remember reading it, sure. Like he mostly sorry?
I said you should look it up. I'm sorry if I interrupted.
Oh, well, I looked it up when I watched the movie after. But anyway, yeah, from what I remember, he was mostly talking about like the intention of the film in terms of like what people are expecting out of it versus what it wanted to be. And so he was saying like, okay, well, Mel Gibson isn't trying to make a film that talks about anything really substantive in terms of like, what really separates like The Last Temptation and Passion is that Last Temptation gives way for a lot of like greater conversations or like ethical or character kind of conversations or conflicts, really interesting themes. But like The Passion doesn't do that, and so Ebert in his review, he essentially just said like, yeah, Mel Gibson wanted to make basically just a movie that focused on this one event in Christ's life, and it just zeroed in on that. And he's like, well, if he wanted to make it brutal and disturbing and just about this, then he succeeded. Anyway, that's the gist of what I got out of his review.
All right, yeah, I'm looking through it right now, and I really like this part right here. It says, "What Gibson has provided for me for the first time in my life is a visceral idea of what the Passion consisted of. That his film is superficial in terms of the surrounding message, that we only get a few passing references to the teachings of Jesus, is, I suppose, not the point. This is not a sermon or a homily, but a visualization of the central event in the Christian religion. Take it or leave it."
Yeah,
And he praises a lot of other things about it.
That's pretty much what I said, though. It's just, I don't know, it's like different phrasing.
Wow, so you guys watch movies a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even really like The Passion, but I like Ebert's review a lot. I think he phrases himself very well for the most part. The only real issue I have with it is when he says, the movie is 126 minutes long, and I would guess that at least 100 of those minutes, maybe more, are concerned specifically and graphically with the details of the torture and deaths of Jesus, which is objectively false. Like, because
did he didn't write which is objectively false. Which part are you saying and which part's he saying?
Like, this part right here when he says the movie is 126 minutes long, 2 hours, and I would guess that at least 100 of those minutes, an hour and 40 minutes, are concerned specifically and graphically with the details of the torture and deaths of Jesus, when in fact, like, the torture doesn't start until nearly an hour in. That's what I was
you're right. The torture only starts like at least 45 minutes into the movie. There's a lot of bullshit at the beginning. So yeah, you're right about that.
What movie is this?
The Passion.
Yeah. And like
Christ of Christmas.
And remember, like, kind of an issue I had with the movie is that, like, a lot of people like justify the disturbing and brutal stuff as being like, oh, this is what really happened to Jesus. They're just Mel Gibson is just showing us what happened. But then there's this bizarre scene in the movie in which, like, one of the thieves is on the cross. Then a crow comes and pecks out his eyes and blood spurts everywhere, and nothing like that is in the Bible. So that kind of defeats the purpose.
I don't know if I would say defeats the purpose. There's artistic liberties taken, obviously. I think that the whole film is just pointless. I think that the only way you could like decide that making that movie is a good idea in the first place, to be like, this is the vision of what I want to communicate. I'm gonna do a Jesus movie, but it's just a bunch of gore torture porn. Like, you have to be fucking crazy to just come up with that idea.
Yeah, but like the bird scene in particular, is watching that, I was like, oh come on, he's just trying way too hard to like shock at that.
It's
point.
a weird goal for a movie.
The part where the kids are like taunting Judas, it's like near the start,
so
like when the faces were CGI'd over.
So funny.
That was
they're
like,
demons.
I was like, hell yeah.
That was like a scene
That
from
was so
Escape
good.
from Tomorrow when they get like the demon faces. Remember when like the girls
I honestly just found 90% of the movie completely boring.
It's a very boring movie. It's a bad movie.
And it looks like a set.
Oh yeah. What's really funny is like the cinematography is like the worst part, but it got nominated for it, and Armin White praised it specifically. Yeah, it got
Oh yeah.
Wait, how?
Oh my god.
I mean, if Don't Look Up can get nominated for editing.
Yeah. So like I don't know. What really makes the conversation about the Passion and the cinematography interesting is like, it depends just how much the Academy considers cinematography to be like also framing, because like that movie was in desperate need of wide shots. Like I never got a sense of the room or the location outside or like any of that at any point. The only wide shot we got was like near the end with the crosses, and that's it. And the rest of the movie is just like way too unintentionally claustrophobically close. It's
directed by the Safdies.
Yeah, like, unintentionally though. But anyway, it got nominated for cinematography, and I'm wondering is like, is it just because they liked the lighting, or like
But the lighting wasn't good. Like in my opinion, it wasn't.
the
good.
lighting
Like,
wasn't anything to write
Yeah.
home about? I don't know.
No, but
Well,
it just
either.
made it look like a set. Like
Yeah, the whole
I was,
thing
like,
was a
taken
set.
out of the movie. Yeah, I know, but like I was taken out of it because it looked kind of visibly obvious. Like,
What's
with,
weird
like,
is
the
like
background
if
stuff.
you're spending that much money building a set, you'd think you might want to show a bit more of it instead of never showing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. And like going back to Armin White's review, like he wrote this entire article about it called "I Heart the Passion," and he's just being like, "Oh, everyone but me reviewing this movie is an atheist. This is fascism."
He did say that, yeah.
Funniest thing.
Yeah.
Wait, who said
For
that?
fuck's
Armin
sake.
White, yeah.
White.
I might have the real quote here,
Oh,
actually. Hold on.
Cartman
Yeah.
like
I
that?
put it on my
Let me pull it
laptop.
up. Oh my god, it's so
I got
funny.
it. I got it. Hold on.
That's a very
Didn't-
common argument with shitty Christian movies.
Oh god, yeah.
There's not a lot
I've-
of good Christian movies out there.
Yeah, when you
I-
think about it,
Man
sorry,
from
my bad.
Earth might
I
be the only
listen
good
to a podcast called God Awful Movies, and they've reviewed
Oh, yeah.
over 266 awful Christian movies, and yeah, not a single. They even included Star Trek 5: The Final Frontier in that list.
Well,
'Cause, I
let's
mean,
hope
hell-
they make it to 666.
Yeah, they'll get there at some point.
Oh no.
Pretty
They
Egypt
just-
was good though.
So Armin,
they've just
sorry, I'll let you
they've
finish.
just they've just done the most recent one they've just done is The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Oh wow, is that considered a Christian movie? I don't remember.
There's certain parts of the movie where basically they turn around and say that there's like Christians basically against cloning. In that
Oh
movie,
sure,
so,
nice.
Like technically, it's got some some bits to it that are religious and so on. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of atheist jokes in there as well. It's just like, oh, you're an idiot if you're an atheist. And
Oh
stuff
yeah, I
like
think
that
I
in there as
remember
well.
that. Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
remember
so,
one part of that.
But
I watched it when I was very
definitely
young.
recommend you guys listen to God Awful Movies. Like they do other big movies if you sign up to their Patreon, but their main stuff is watching the worst Christian movies known to man and just literally ripping the shit into them as three atheists. It's great.
Was unplanned on that list because that movie is actually like
Oh, I forgot about
like,
that movie. I never
steaming
watched
pile
it
of
though.
garbage.
Oh god.
It's actually like
Oh.
infuriating.
I think that's
What
on my
about,
watch list.
Have they ever watched Christian Mingle? And it's retitled to
Oh
Christmas
yeah,
Mingle?
I forgot
Like,
about
the
that.
Fucking,
Retitled?
The thing
it's
the
really
thing-
boring, but some of
thing
it's
is-
like super funny.
They've done
Like, very
so
ballpark.
many of these movies that it's like they cover even like the bottom of the barrel stuff that you can find in like bargain bins in like very rural areas of America. They'll cover anything that has got some sort of Christian like message to it just to take the piss out of it.
Mhm.
Beyond belief. That's why they've done Star Trek 5: The Final Frontier, because in that movie Kirk kills God. Sorry, spoilers alert.
That
But,
sounds
like,
hilarious.
What
like,
does God want with a starship?
That's the best part of the movie. It's just Kirk
JRPG.
just
It's a
calling out
JRPG.
God and his bullshit, going, "What does God need with a starship? What are you on about?"
That's pretty good.
It's a great fucking. That's
I
the
gotta
best
watch
part
that.
in that whole movie. The rest of the movie's trash, but the end part is fucking stupidly ridiculous and funny. It's worth
They
just
talked
watching
about
just for that
finding
bit.
Jesus, that fish one.
I think yes, they have done that one.
Yes!
They have done that one. Yeah,
Which
they've
one?
done that one. They've done.
Which
one? What
they've
about
done
a-
They've done all the Chris. Is it Chris Kirkham? That
Kirk
really.
Cameron?
That's it. Kirk Cameron. They've done all of
Saving
his
Christmas.
movies.
Chris
They've-
Kirkham.
That's his new name.
Fucking thing. Chris Kirkham. Chris
What about,
Kirkham. They've covered all of his
Jankum?
movies.
Yeah.
Jankum.
Oh god. Chris Jankum.
Jankum.
Hear about
Jankum.
the
Oh my
Joshua
God.
and the Promised Land? Was that covered?
I'm not. Again, it's
No,
266 movies.
no.
I can't remember off the top of my head what they've
No.
covered because they've
You
covered some
can't remember
really
266?
bad movies.
Oh yeah, and like one of the
Fuck.
most recent movies I've covered is Redeeming Love from the director of Eagle Eye.
Oh
It's
yeah.
about-
Oh, no.
He's had like two conservative movies that have like come out in the same year with like.
Oh, I didn't know
Like, Best
Saberspark did a
Superhero.
Joshua reanimated thing. I'll check that out.
Yeah, he
Oh, yeah, that was really
reanimated the
good.
entire movie.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I will check that out.
Or rather, he hired
like,
someone.
Collaborative.
Apparently, redeeming love is about all this crazy stuff. It's about a woman who's sold into prostitution when she's young, and then this guy shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna save you. I have no character traits beyond wanting to save you and all that." And that's just, and it's just her like being abused the entire movie. Even so, it's supposed to be like an uplifting Christian movie, and it's just PG-13. Again, I can't believe the director of Eagle Eye has like 2 conservative movies that have come out in the same year with like both Redeeming
I didn't know
Love
they were the
and
same year.
Shut-In. Oh.
It's funny
It's
how
like
many
yeah.
it's funny
Yeah,
how
both
many
are
Christian
amazing.
movies are just like kind of inappropriate. But like the
there's-
stereotype is like Christian moms being like, you can't put this in a theater, you know, or like trying to censor, or like. But then it's like Passion of the Christ. It's like, yeah, we're gonna show my children a bunch of gore now.
Yeah, but it's the shock value to get people into the religion.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm like, I don't know.
Or possibly
That's
it's
how
like
I
I think
interpret it.
I think it's like the way I interpret it for like Christian moms, like their way of thinking is it's like if I show my child this, they'll be so scared to the bone that they don't fucking commit any sins. It's like this is what happens when you sin. Like I don't know, but I don't know how they work in their fucking brains.
Yeah.
But like it's just but yeah, you're right. It's just like they go against so many movies and stuff like that. It's like I mean, what was it when they were releasing? Because what was it they were released? Is that they when the Lucifer TV show was being released?
Oh yeah,
Fox.
that's a cheesy one.
Went ballistic because of like Lucifer being this like good guy, basically this anti-hero, and basically they were trying to shut that down, but that failed massively.
I can't believe they haven't come for the Cuphead show yet, because like the devil's a major character in that show.
Yeah,
Isn't he
like it's a children's cartoon, but still.
It's
interesting to concern yourself over like spirits and demons about TV shows.
Yeah.
Remember like how many Christians were against Harry Potter? That was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
They still are. It's just not like as loud as it used to be.
That's because the Fantastic Beasts movies are big piles of dog shit. That's
no one cares about Harry Potter.
Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about the
kids. Don't care. Yeah. It's funny that they're still making them though.
There's still 3 more being made.
That's crazy.
It was no.
Are they making money?
Funnier was that
they
released a documentary about like Harry Potter being like a big reunion, and they didn't include any new interviews with J.K. Rowling. They just
of course,
because of J.K. Rowling's questionable fucking tweets.
I know why.
Yeah.
It's just still really funny.
Yeah, fuck her.
I think it's my favorite thing
You
about
only made the series. It's no big deal.
My favorite thing about like the Harry Potter series in general is the fact that it's like they took away Johnny Depp and replaced him with Mads Mikkelsen to try and still we're going to carry on these movies, and they're still planning 2 movies after this. Like how? Why? Nobody cares about these movies anymore.
Cinematic universe.
It has to because they have to
Harry Potter cinematic universe.
Because Universal has like invested like a shit ton of money into the Harry Potter world, and like they need the movie. Is it
Warner Bros?
No, I think it's Warner Bros, isn't it?
Universal's...
I think it's Warner
Bros.
But
Universal Studios has Harry Potter World, right? I was
there.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
The theme park attraction, you mean?
Yeah, like I'm only saying that because I feel like the big franchise movies, like the reason they make so many spin-offs is to keep people interested in going to the parks as well,
or just merchandise,
like to keep it in the mind. Like merchandise as well.
Yeah,
so,
Harry Potter
I mean,
merchandise can exist forever. There's a bunch of Harry Potter Legos and shit.
In America, you guys don't have Primark, so it's like, and Primark, literally, there is an entire section dedicated to Harry Potter, and it's literally
there's a Primark in New York.
Yeah, there's a Primark in Boston as well.
Fucking hell! What
is that? Like a toy store, or what is it?
It's like a clothing store, but it's great.
Harry Potter clothes.
They don't.
Harry
exchange rate is not
wizard
accounted
robes.
for, so something that's €5 is $5 here. It's pretty great.
It's
crazy.
Really cheap clothing, but yeah.
Why wouldn't they adjust for that?
I have no idea why they don't, but
someone made a
that's
mistake.
Like their whole gimmick.
Primark's really weird as well because they're cheap as fuck, and also they don't do delivery service either. You have to go to their stores. There's no delivery service for them.
Taylor, what did you want to say? You gotta unmute yourself. Sorry, I can't hear you.
I just wanted to say thanks for the content.
Oh, thank you.
This month I made it a goal to attend every one of these this year, but I got called into work last minute.
Oh, no worries.
So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to listening to the conversation later, and just wanted to say have a good hangout, everybody.
Oh,
and,
no worries.
See you next
Thank you so much. Thank you for your support.
See ya, man.
Thank
See
you.
you in April.
I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Yeah, we
What were you saying? Primark?
Yeah.
What I was saying is like Primark has a Harry Potter section as well. Like
they have a section for everything. They sell like literally anything. It's unreal.
I've never heard of such a store. I will look at it.
It's so.
I'm surprised. I feel like
Adam, we're Canadian. We don't have
just
anything.
America, England.
Yeah.
America, England.
It is. I feel like every Canadian I've ever met, I relate to more than Americans. Like in terms of like personality.
I think it's mainly because
social awareness.
I think it's mainly because the amount of like the amount of Americans that we see from like for his social media and so on is via fucking like the rednecks, the Trump supporters and stuff like that. That's our view of America at this point in time at the moment.
America's not all that. It's not just...
Yeah, but the problem is from across the pond.
point.
That's what we see. We don't see the good bits. We just see that, so we just judge you on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you have to also imagine every country has their stereotypes, but like proportionally, there's some issues that are bigger in the United States than other Western countries. Like it's not just like that's the only thing that makes it into the media. It's also like if statistically a larger issue. Yeah. I mean, like proportionally to like population, there's a lot of issues like. Incarceration, it's like the highest globally. Like poverty, it's pretty high for the Western world. Healthcare, the amount of money expended on healthcare versus the actual quality of care. Life expectancy, that's lower than a lot of the Western world. If you look on like corruption rankings and like there's a lot of shit where it's not just like, oh, the media's showing it. It's like, oh, this is an actual issue that seems to be pretty bad in the United States.
Yeah, it's very weird because I love American cable. Whenever I'm in the States,
it's the consumerist wet dream. Being a consumer is great in the US because you get to exploit everybody to give you really cheap shit.
I've never seen ads for fucking every pill that exists.
America is great for rich people.
Ads for like contraception, which is fine, but like the way they do it so over the top. Like it's so, I don't know how to like it's everything's so like you must
everything's dramatic.
Yeah, sensationalized.
Like,
I would say.
They over dramatize
even elections,
in their adverts.
Everything.
Well, and in Britain, it's just like we have this if you want it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's actually a common like thing that people complain about British TV, where it's like everything is so low energy and very like bottom of the line. And then in America, however, you've got people where it's like, if you don't take this pill, you're gonna have AIDS in 3 days.
You should see German advertising. It's even more low, like chill.
Cigarette
ads.
What are you
scary car commercial?
Like,
scary car.
Like
holiday that was crazy. What are you trying to say, Boards of Cinema?
Well, for a couple of quick things. First off, I noticed that Clara Bellum's Going Overboard fan art wasn't in the Going Overboard Sardonicast episode.
Oh.
Which kind of stinks.
Well,
really
I think that's because it was drawn after I had already published it.
Alright. Understand.
So it'll be in the next one.
The second thing I want to briefly ask about is I was just reading more of Ebert's Passion of the Christ review, and he says, the MPAA's R rating for The Passion is definitive proof that the organization either will never give the NC-17 rating for violence alone, or was intimidated by the subject matter. If it had been anyone other than Jesus up on that cross, I have a feeling that NC-17 would have been automatic.
Probably.
Do you agree?
I mean, it's probably.
Other than Jesus?
Well, the point is that the whole thing was torture porn, and it got a free pass because America.
It's very arbitrary, the MPAA. So like,
I mean, do you think the movie probably deserves like an?
I don't think anything deserves an NC-17 rating, and like I don't give a shit. I think ratings are too. restrictive anyway, especially in the United States. I don't think people who can't handle that type of mature content are seeking it out. To have a rating system that informs is better than one that restricts, and NC-17 is one that restricts rather than informs. So I don't think anything deserves an NC-17 rating.
I'm giving the MPAA a 1 out of 10. That's my rating.
Yeah.
Closer to a
Like
0 than a 10.
if you have triggers or whatever you want to call it for certain content and you need that type of warning, you should be able to look something up and be like, oh, this is the type of content that's in it. I can decide whether or not for myself to seek it out. But unfortunately, NC-17 not only creates it so that you can't see it even with a parental guardian or whatever, but it makes it so that less theaters are actually willing to host the film, so it kills it financially, and that in of itself is like a form of.
There used to be a time though when like NC-17 films were like financially successful, like back in like the 70s or whatever. But I guess like back when it was like the X rating instead, like when it was called that. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see, because now it's like nobody gives a shit because it's streaming services. You can release an unrated film; it doesn't matter. Like nobody does anybody look at the ratings on the shit on streaming services unless you have like children on the account or something. Like nobody cares.
I don't even think it says like the rating. It just says mature or something. I don't even.
Yeah, a lot of them have like TV ratings.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never looked at a rating ever, like in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
not even on games now.
Like I don't even.
I
don't even think that the description for the rating should be right before the movie, because sometimes it spoils the movie. Sometimes it's like for gore. I'm like, I didn't know someone was gonna die in this movie. You know, shit. Now I'm expecting it.
Maybe they'll just get
It should. The information should be available for people who want to seek it out. But
I have heard that if a movie like swears more than 300 something times, like it'll get it like or something like that, it'll get it N-17.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know if there's an exact rule for a lot of the MPAA shit.
It
seems arbitrary.
There was a rule during the 90s. I think it was an unwritten rule, but it was basically like a PG-13 film, for example, could show basically a partial side boob once, an ass once, and say the F word once. If you if you do any of those things more than once, then it gets immediately put up to an R rating. But if it's like, so that's why there was so many movies, like for example, The Sixth Day, for example, that's a PG-13 movie, and it has the F word once, a side boob once, and an ass once, and that's it.
Just as much as you can get away with.
Imagine
as much as you can get away with. Like,
imagine making a movie and like you're discussing it with like a team of people, and you're all like coming together, being like, where do we put the side boob?
Yeah,
like,
it's that type of consideration is not one that I would like to be thinking of when writing something.
It's like you've literally just got Peter Griffin just sat there at the fucking table, just going, "But yes, I get we need to focus on the story, but where the fuck is the side boob going, guys? Come on, we need to focus on that, please."
South Park do something like?
Yeah, I was gonna mention the South Park movie had I believe the rule for making something NC-17 as far as language goes, you had to say fuck at least like 300 or 400 times, and and the South Park movie had them say fuck like 399 times exactly.
Yeah, there was literally an episode dedicated to counting the amount of times that they cursed.
Yeah, it hits the fan.
I saw that episode. I don't watch a lot of South Park, but I saw that episode.
All right, so like another big reason I wanted to bring up that Roger Ebert quote in which he's talking about like, you know, the movie Passion's like R rating and all that. I wanted to ask you, Adam, if, you know, in Canada, do you think like a 14A rating or an 18A rating would be more appropriate for the Passion? Neither are restrictive, but I'm just curious, since it is such a brutal
I think
movie.
Probably 14A is fine.
All right.
Yeah, 14A should be fine.
It's like
I do not.
Yeah, it's some gore. I don't know. It depends how sensitive you are. It's probably rated 18 in Canada, but let's see.
So
was it?
Let's see.
The Lighthouse was 14A here.
Canada. Let's see. Canada was 18A, except in Quebec, where it was 16 plus, and then there's apparently an edited version that was 13 plus in Quebec also, but it was edited, so who knows?
So
yeah, like
how
Mel
does
Gibson,
the
like-
rating system work in
Sorry.
Canada?
I don't know,
it's-
but the Batman was
Instead of
PG.
like instead of like
Yeah,
our
PG-13 in the States.
17, we have like
Yeah,
14A
I
and
thought it would be.
18A, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the rating system
Yeah.
is just
It's mostly similar except for those two things.
it's similar to the States, except people here aren't as hysterical, so you'll see generally lower age ratings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good. So, you know,
Yeah.
something that says, oh no, they said heck, PG, like, you know.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
Rocket Man is like G or something.
You alluded to
Yeah,
someone's
like that's
destruction
a
PG.
that happens all the time in movies in the U.S. Is like if you have gay characters in it, the rating will be much higher. Whereas like every other country is like not doing that. Well, every other Western country, let's say.
But that's intense.
We're looking
Yeah,
at
you
you,
are.
Alabama and Texas. We're looking at you.
If you want to see a fun documentary about this shit, this film is not yet rated.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
dog.
Adam recommended it on his channel.
Yeah, and like something else I wanted to
Yeah,
say about
it's
like
PG
the
in
film
Canada,
ratings.
Rocket Man. R in the
Something
States.
else Something else I wanted to say about the Canadian rating system briefly is that although I agree with it for the most part, sometimes it kind of frustrates me. For example, The Killing of the Sacred Deer and A Quiet Place both have a 14 and up rating, which that doesn't make sense.
Well, what was it?
It's like
PG-13 in the
to be
States? Because
honest-
it's either going to move to, that's only
Quiet
like
Place
what
is-
we don't have a 13 in Canada. So sometimes if it's like,
14.
oh wait, yeah, it's rated R in the
Doesn't
States.
Quebec
Killing
have
of a
one?
Sacred Deer. What was the
Doesn't
other one?
Quebec have one?
Yeah, I was gonna
A
say.
Quiet Place, which is like.
Are you saying you disagree with it as in it should be higher?
I think Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm not sure if it should be like higher. Maybe it should be higher.
You're
but
not
A
sure, then
Quiet
why do you
Place-
disagree with it?
Like I'm saying that like, if a Quiet Place shouldn't have the same age rating as The Killing of a Sacred Deer. If The Killing of a Sacred Deer should have a 14 and up rating, A Quiet Place should have a PG.
But in the
Um,
States,
happens
it is
in-
like that.
I
'cause
don't
Well,
think anything
sometimes
that
sometimes you have
Killing
to
the Sacred
round it,
Deer is
right?
rated R in the
Is
States.
it a
I don't know. It's just
But
so
it's like-
confusing.
thematic
but
thing for killing of a
every-
sacred
I mean, you're never gonna get a
Well, there's-
perfect like.
I
you know.
know.
But yeah, it's
But,
like,
like-
every it's like
Yeah.
every country's system is going to be it's like frustrating in some way. Like I mean, every single it's like from Harry Potter for upwards, they're all 12s, and actually to be honest, they should all be PGs because there's nothing like that warrants a 12 rating apart
Yeah, they're super
from
tame.
it's like a bit of blood. That's all it is.
You know what makes no sense? Why is the Batman rated PG-13 in the US, but is rated 15 in the UK? I had to
They
look
say
up.
fuck
what was-
once.
I looked up
They say
like the
fuck
gore.
once.
Yeah, I looked up the
Yeah.
gore and shit on IMDb without spoilers, and I was like,
Probably because
okay,
it's violent.
Not that bad at all.
I think the UK cares a bit more about violence than the US.
But it's like when
Apparently,
it comes to
but-
it's like, but when it's like whenever you guys have an R rating, we usually set it as a 15. Like Deadpool, for example, is an R-rated movie in the US, and it's a 15 in the UK, and that's what
Mhm.
we always thought. It was like PG-13 is 12 for us, and then R rating is 15 for us. So yeah, it's like so I could go and understand that kind of like disparity between for the Batman movie. Like it's a bit odd.
Maybe in
least.
the UK they have like a different criteria.
They
that
do, yeah. It's a different
It's-
company. It's a different.
yeah, it's different people.
Like it's a
Yeah, I
different
figured.
officiating body. So, but it's like, but again, it's the same with video games. Video games are officiated by separate companies, but they're overseen by the same company. So it doesn't
I
really.
feel like everything in the UK for video games gets like a PEGI 18. Like
I forgot it was called
I don't
Peggy.
know.
Peggy,
Wait, what
yeah.
does Peggy mean?
I don't know, but
Doesn't
that's
mean
People-
anything.
It'll
Tags
open,
mean
it'll
anything.
open up. It will be like PEGI 16.
That's a
PEGI 18.
rating?
I just hear
Yeah.
PEGI
Yeah.
18
What
every time I watch a
It's
YouTube.
like, so you
penises
guys-
everywhere in games.
You guys have got the
Yes.
ESRB.
Yes.
We've got
Love
PEGI,
it.
basically.
game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Games
it's
in.
like-
18.
It's like,
PEGI 12.
yeah, Peggy 16.
12.
I haven't seen a Peggy 16 rating
serious,
in
look this up,
fucking
it's so funny.
years. It's always it either goes from Peggy 12 to Peggy 18. There's no Peggy
Yeah,
16.
it's literally
a
always
funny
18.
name.
Peggy
Elden Ring
16.
is 16. Elden Ring
Yeah.
16, and I was surprised.
Oh,
I
is
was
it
like,
really?
oh wow. Yeah.
Peggy 16 is like R rating. or a ESRB 15? Do you guys have a 15?
Yeah, no, it's just
No.
E10, E10 plus,
Mature.
teen,
we have teen,
mature,
yeah.
and then adult only.
It'll be teen then. It's like, so use like 50. So our Peggy 16 is teen for you guys, basically.
Okay.
I wish everyone would just come together and pick one rating system. That way, everyone like knows what the fuck.
We can get the United
I don't think it.
Nations
Why?
just
Why?
join.
It doesn't. I don't see why that would be beneficial to anybody.
We don't need a
No,
rating
I'm
system
joking.
anyway. The only
Okay.
reason we have a rating system is because fucking moms and dads were complaining about fucking Mortal Kombat back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
We could literally
Like-
just have a
And
here,
rap
here's
music.
what's in this game, nudity. Okay,
Yeah, and
we don't
rap
need
music.
we don't need a tag
Yeah.
attached to it. We just describe what's in the game. Is there blood? Okay. Is there nudity? Okay. It doesn't need
There
to have
will
like a
be
whole
blood.
ass
when the
label
government
attached
gets
to it.
involved, you kind of
That's a great movie.
Actually, what
Yeah.
what Adam's just said is perfect. He said it's like, well, it's like, and rapping as well. Rapping was the other thing that basically brought in the rating system. Why don't we just have the same thing we have for music? Just just one rating.
I was just
one
thinking
rating.
that, like right now.
The parental guidance thing on music was even more bullshit because there's like so much folk music which like I love.
Yeah.
Like Two Gallants has like the N word in like one of their folk albums, and like I don't see any parental guides for that. But then like every hip hop album, even if the swearing's minimal, it's like parental guidance.
The fact it's like the fact that Macklemore has a parental guidance thing on his rap albums just says it all, really. Like Macklemore's like the most safe rapper you could ever find, and he's got a fucking parental guidance rating on his bloody rap. I'm sorry, but no.
It's so biased.
Yeah, what I find really funny about like all this parental advisory stuff on CDs is that it literally only exists because like Tipper Gore was like walking past her daughter's bedroom as this like masturbation lyric from like a Prince song was playing, and then she hit the roof, and like that's why we have it. Even though Prince had like much more explicitly discussed masturbation and like other sexual stuff in his earlier songs, it was just because
it's the cancel culture as well, because like, I mean, what was it? There was this girl posted a TikTok ages ago, basically saying it's like, oh, we need to cancel Eminem, and she basically claimed it's like she claimed it's a lyric from his song "Love the Way You Lie," which is basically like if she tries to leave again, I'm gonna burn the house down. You're like, that's the lyric you chose?
That's funny.
Eminem songs though.
Like, have you not listened to Shake That Ass? Have you not listened to Guilty Conscience? Like,
how about 97 Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah,
they kind of missed the point of the song too.
Yeah.
Or Kim. Yeah. Kim's a really messed up song. Like, why didn't she draw from that?
Because she's a fucking millennial dumbass. That's all it is.
Millennial?
The lady that cried. Oh.
Is it millennial or Gen Z?
I would have to say, if you're a millennial, you've probably listened to early Eminem.
Oh, it's Gen Z. Sorry, it's Gen Z.
Zoomer.
I'm technically Gen Z, but like I'm like the first gen. Like I'm 97, but so I relate to millennials more. So it's very weird to say.
Yeah, I'm in the same
Gen
camp.
Z,
I'm 98, but I'm definitely.
Too bad you're a Zoomer. Sorry.
Fuck.
They might. They at some point they have. I don't know how these generational classifications get decided. I don't know who does that, but like at some point they're gonna have to make a new one, like Zoomer Plus or some shit.
No, I think they already have.
Featuring Dante from
we
the
can
Devil
look
May
it up.
Cry
Actually.
series.
Wait, hold on.
iZoomer.
Next generation after Zoomers. I think they already have decided it. Oh, Generation Alpha.
Oh, that's such a lame.
Generation Alpha.
No one's gonna say that though. The problem is no one's gonna say that. You gotta give something where you can have like some sort of slang to like insult them and demoralize them, because that's what everybody wants to do with the new generation every single time. So.
Generation Beta.
I don't know.
Alpha's not good for insult.
Zoomers was a good name for it.
Actually, imagine being born into Generation Beta. Jesus Christ, you'd be
oh my god.
For years.
That's that. We're setting ourselves up for failure here, aren't we?
Literally.
Something else I find really funny about this ratings and classifications things is that they have ratings for movies, they have ratings for CDs, they have ratings for video games, but they don't have any rating for books.
Yeah, there's some pretty content-heavy books out there. If they had the problem is if they had ratings for books, then they'd have to put one on the Bible, so they have to avoid that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god.
The Bible would be like
Yeah,
they'd probably do?
they wouldn't realistically be able to argue for ratings on books because the Bible would be like pretty high rated.
Yeah. They would literally just have it so where like religious texts are
Oh
excluded
yeah,
from the rating system.
the exception.
Yeah, they totally do that. I wouldn't put it past them.
Wouldn't put it past them. But again, there's so many. The problem is there's too many. Well, to be fair, you can say the same about music and movies. That there's too many of them. But there, the fact are with books is you have to turn around and say it's like all the Stephen King ones are all restricted. They're all NC 17s or something.
Yeah, they'd be all like hard XXX.
All hard XXX stuff. You cannot be going near this unless you're 21 years old and stuff like that. Like
literature does get kind of a pass.
All the stuff you get is like you have to read in school, like Lord of the Flies, Of Mice and Men, and all that sort of stuff. You can't read those in school anymore. They're put as triple X's as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to read
no more boy in striped pajamas
Mice and Men anymore because everyone used to get really excited when the N word would come up.
No, they stopped doing the Of Mice and Men now.
I think so because it was
take.
like it would be like like I don't know, like my class was pretty racially like diverse, so it'd be like you'd have like always the one white kid that doesn't want to say the N word when it comes up in the novel. And then
they were asking you to read it.
Yeah, out
loud.
Awesome. It comes up to the word.
That's so good. You can just say the word N word instead of actually saying the N word.
I know.
May or may not have said it, but like more.
Just say it with the light A, not the hard
funny
A.
at the time. Just because in class it's like your teacher's like making you read this book.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huckleberry
Chat
Finn.
just mentioned.
Exactly.
Somebody in the chat just mentioned like Huckleberry Finn, and like they just took the words right out of my mouth because I was just about to say like what if they made you read Huck Finn out loud in class? That has the N word.
I haven't.
Or like To Kill a Mockingbird.
Just about to say that. To Kill a Mockingbird.
If that book gets banned,
Yeah,
I'll be kind of upset. That's a fantastic book to this day, but like
it's like you can still teach these books in a modern context. Like obviously you can't look at them the exact same way as when they came out. Yeah, it's just I was reading this article that someone sent me that they were given for class. It was about this author talking about, oh, the classroom is too woke now. They're giving these old authors a slap on the wrist because they said bad words. It's like, no one's fucking doing that. You can teach these books still and recognize that they're from a different time and teach them through that lens. It's like no one's going like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is why this is bad. You shouldn't like celebrate these authors anymore. It's like you can still understand historical context.
Yeah,
It's also like I mean, there's somebody brought up the boy in the striped pajamas. There's so many schools in the UK that are refusing to teach that book now because apparently it's traumatizing to children.
Really?
That's funny.
That's the whole fucking point. That's the point of the book.
It's because people don't want to like teach anymore. People don't want to educate. It's like a lot of people want to be stuck in this idea that we have to like wash history, and it's like no. The whole point of history is that it's messy. You learn from it. You learn from all the stupid shit we did, all the dumb stuff. You're supposed to learn from it and get better. And, a lot of people
yet,
just don't want to accept this.
people don't.
And yet, I remember in like sixth grade, I remember in sixth grade I had to watch
Dragon.
So I remember in sixth grade, my school assigned me to watch Gone with the Wind, but then they pointed out that that film's view of slavery is rather outdated. So then they had me watch another movie called Glory.
Are you gonna say Birth of a Nation?
Movie. So this movie called Glory from the 80s was like all about slavery and the Civil War, and it was rated R, so that they didn't censor or like sanitize anything, and it was pretty traumatizing, but it was like important for me to like learn about that stuff, and it really helped me recognize how awful all of it was. And I don't think I'd have as good of a grasp of it today if I hadn't seen it back then.
I think all kids should have to watch Martyrs. I'll straighten them out.
Good joke, but I think that's true.
Educational value.
Desensitize everybody.
I mean,
no
I
more
did watch it
babies.
back when you, I think I was
I had a
12 when
history
you
class
recommended
where
that on your list thing. So
Mhm.
I think it set me straight.
Yeah, it set me straight as well.
I did have I had a history class where my genius teacher wanted to show us 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave is a great movie, but he
Amazing
said,
movie.
and I quote, "I have not seen this movie." So but yeah, everything's all great until you get to the Lupita Nyong'o scene.
I have not seen it either, but I get the feeling that's
What was
It's a
the name of
great
the
movie.
YouTuber? What was the name
yeah.
of the YouTuber who complained about Parasite but didn't watch Parasite?
Oh, that guy.
Oh yeah.
that guy.
Not a
Was it the
YouTuber
quarter?
that has
It
any
wasn't the quartering,
presence
it was
or
someone
yeah.
else.
I know
Yeah,
his
he's
name.
gone
I
now.
don't know if I should say it.
You don't
though.
have to. They're
Wait,
nobody's
is he
nobody's
the-
watching them
Keep him in the
anyway.
dark.
Wait,
They're
is
not
he
like a
the-
popular
Nobody
YouTuber or
cares.
anything.
Is he the
Yeah.
guy that
He's
got
not.
upset because
He hasn't
Joker
done
didn't
anything
win?
else.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that was
what he
him.
was mad about. He was mad
Oh.
that Joker didn't win, so he took it out on
Yeah.
Parasite.
There's only one video that anybody has seen of this person.
He
so.
made a follow-up video where he reviewed Parasite and he's like, yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. But Joker though, that's what should have.
Well, it's weird.
So funny
'cause
because
it-
everything he said in the original video was so wrong in like different ways. Where it's like Joker is more important because it's about how the rich look down on the poor.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, my favorite part was like you can't have we need American movies to win, like 1917. It's like, oh, you mean white then, because that's not an American movie.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, I'm gonna refill my water. I'll be right back.
Have fun.
Okay.
Fun.
No, the Oscars are weird because it's like, are they movies for like the entire world or just movies that come out of Hollywood?
They do.
Whichever
yeah.
movie has the
They-
most
whatever the
money to campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a popularity contest.
That's all it is. Because
you know.
it's weird because they've got the foreign movie category, which is why some people were. It's like there was a small minority of people that were going, well, why didn't it win foreign movie then and not win? It's like and had to win the best movie. It's like that's because it was a good movie, but. Like it's down to the fact that it's got fucking it's just down to like money at the end of the day. It's like I mean look at Green Book. The fact that Green Book won is like best picture was a bit of a like really? Like are you sure?
I just watched that movie in the mental hospital and it is not like anywhere close like Oscar winning.
No.
You watched it in a mental hospital?
I did.
Seems like the most fitting place.
It was.
I only watched half of that movie. It was pain. It was like it was like
I mean,
it
when you
was
don't
like
have
just
access
barely
to
a
the
step
internet-
above like a Darman video.
Yeah.
But
When you don't
only
have access
slightly.
to the
Ben
internet,
Shapiro?
It's
not
just
too
got
bad.
better cinematography and better actual worth
Yeah,
to it than a
actors,
Darman movie.
like
You know what I do hate is like whenever somebody is like, oh, that's a good movie. Oh, why is it a good movie? Oh, because it won an Oscar. Like
Yeah.
and it gets annoying because
A bunch of rich people told me to like it.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, look, I like Parasite. I think it's a good movie. I'm controversially not the biggest fan of the ending, but I'm not opening up a can of worms now. I got annoyed when everyone's like, "Oh man, South Koreans, they make good movies." All right, what else have you watched?
They shut down immediately because they haven't watched anything else apart from that. It's the people that watch the fucking Squid Game. Like the amount of people I've spoken to that have watched Squid Game, and I then say, "Okay, cool. Did you listen to it in Korean?" Oh no, I watched it dubbed. I went,
Oh my god!
I want to punch you. I want to punch you so badly.
And that I wouldn't even be so bad if like the English dub wasn't absolutely atrocious.
Of course, yeah.
I thought at the beginning of Adam's review, it genuinely seemed like a parody of like the voice acting. Genuinely.
You know,
when I
what
started
I-
watching, it defaulted to having the dub on for some reason, which was annoying.
That's something that I found so crazy about The Passion of the Christ is because Mel Gibson successfully got Christian America to watch a subtitled film.
Yeah.
The whole thing's subtitled. So it's like the same crowd that would like not want to watch Parasite, ostensibly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
In
like
fact, my
it's like in Hebrew or something.
my dad is friends with someone who refuses to watch Parasite because then she'd have to read subtitles.
There's a lot of
Ask them if they've seen The Passion.
Yeah.
You need to find out if they've seen The Passion and then report back.
You know, fun
Passion
fact:
of the Christ.
Mel Gibson didn't even want to put subtitles in the movie, and he wanted people to just figure everything out through the performances.
That would have been better.
How drunk was he when he made that fucking idea? How drunk was he at that point?
Very.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, like have you heard about the whole subtitle controversy with The Passion? Because there's
No.
apparently this one line in the movie which the Jewish characters are saying, "Oh, Jesus's blood is on us and our children," but then somebody persuaded Mel Gibson to like take the subtitle out because they realized that would make a lot of Jews very angry. And like Mel Gibson himself would be like, "Yeah, they'd be out to kill me with pitchforks if I left that subtitle in." Like the dialogue itself is still there, but the subtitle isn't. So unless you speak Hebrew or like whatever language the
That's
movie's
funny.
in, you can't tell.
I think like a lot of that stuff is slowly going away because I remember when I was a kid, like I hated two things. Like I loved movies, but I hated two things. I hated black and white movies, and I hated reading subtitles. When I was a kid, older I got, like the more I was like, no, I have an appreciation for black and white films, and I watch a shit ton of foreign films in subtitles. It's just you just get used to it when you get older. You know. So
I've never hated subtitle films. I've never had a single issue with it.
Same.
I think it's also I watch it's like all movies with subtitles now because there's sometimes I rewatch a movie and I'm like, oh, so that's what they were saying. Oh,
Yeah.
now I completely didn't realize that's what they were saying. Like it just glosses over me. It's like
subtitles are always better.
I rewatched The Hunt for Red October, one of my favorite movies, and throughout that movie I was just like, what the fuck are they saying? And now I know because I was reading the subtitles.
Yeah, it's like Train Spotting. It's kind of difficult, but then when you watch it with subtitles, it's you get the humor.
Same thing for me with The Lighthouse. I had to watch that with subtitles the second time just to really understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a superpower because I don't struggle with northern accents in England at all.
Me
like,
neither.
I will
Not
have like my fiance who's like American will go to like somewhere in England and like I have to translate and it's like super fucking
That's
like,
funny.
It's like I know another language, but it's just English, but with pronounced
Just really
in, like,
thick
a nonsense
accents.
way.
Thick accents.
Sometimes you just gotta get used to
slang
it
and stuff.
Well,
you got to hear it
just
enough
comes
times.
back from it comes back from appreciation of film. That's the thing. When I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, movies, big blockbuster. People make millions of dollars. But around the time I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, that's when I started learning consciously, oh wait, these are made by people and it's artistic. And that's when you actually start caring about movies. I know that's so weird. I'm just trying to get the whole thing. Yeah.
It's like when you start looking to the credits and go like, oh, so that's who directed, that's the producer of that, and so on. Yeah,
Hello.
that's when I started really looking at it. It's just like focusing on the director, and then I started looking at all the other bits and the other parts that made the movie and so on, and starting to recognize certain bits and pieces, certain cinematography and so on. Like, yeah, that was what I started really getting into movies properly. And actually focusing no longer on blockbusters like MCU movies and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to branch out a little bit because rewatching Guardians of the Galaxy for the 5th time is not doing it for me anymore.
Yeah, my real introduction to like movies with subtitles were the Studio Ghibli movies. Because at first I watched them in English when I was very young, but then when I found out that they were originally in Japanese, I was like, hey, I might as well watch it that way with subtitles on. And like after that, like every time my family, wanted to watch a Studio Ghibli movie, I always made sure we would watch it in Japanese with subtitles on because it made it more interesting. And like, have you heard about Studio Ghibli Fest, which happens every year?
Yeah.
I can imagine what it is.
They show a Ghibli movie like every month in theaters, like in actual theaters. Yeah.
I always try to catch like a subtitled screening instead of like the English version.
I recently rewatched Mononoke in English, and it's like, wow, this dub is actually kind of ass.
The
this is
Totoro
kind of
dub.
a terrible dub.
Yeah, the Totoro dub wasn't good either.
Dubs are always kind of worse, Like it's easier to
generally.
translate just dialogue in general when it's subtitled, because sometimes there are like, I don't know, just kind of cultural ways of speaking, or like how a sentence exists seems more natural and less out of place when you're hearing it in the native language with subtitles, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a sentence that makes sense for a Japanese person to say, but then you hear it in English, it's like, that's a weird way to say things. And you
I agree.
you give the actors that line, and they can do their best, but it's still gonna sound weird.
It also depends on like how they decide to dub the movie, like because
Yeah.
randomly I was scrolling through Facebook and I just found a Smosh video, and they were talking about like one of the main guys on there he was part of a Mandarin dubbed movie. So it's like, and basically their way of doing it was they basically looked at how the animated characters' mouths moved and basically wrote down words. It's like that kind of matched up with how they were like
The
saying
syllables, that's
the
annoying.
syllables and stuff like that. And yeah, he said it's like the words that were coming out from our movie compared to the other movie were completely different and completely separate. Which I was like, okay, that's a really weird way of trying to do a dubbed movie. Like,
yeah, that's
surely you just translate it, like, especially an animated movie.
That's the
like,
Dark
who
Crystal.
gives a shit? Yeah.
If I can, sorry.
No, God.
Yeah, like if I can interject a little, like I know some languages are better at doing dubs. Like I like to watch a lot of Farsi dub stuff with my grandmother. So it's like the other day we were actually watching The Shining dubbed entirely in Farsi, and it was actually really, really good. Like the script wasn't one-to-one, but they clearly paid a lot of attention to like the mannerisms and sort of reworking some sentences to make sense in Farsi rather than doing
sometimes you have to
without
translate culturally too.
Yeah, like rather than just like losing aspects of the story.
The worst is like
the translation.
The worst is when a character makes a joke and you have to translate a joke. That's like, sometimes those are just so cultural. Or like if somebody's doing something and the point is that it rhymes, then you're tasked with a real challenge, and it's interesting to see translators get around those sorts of things.
The only reason I try to be like a big defender of like dubs, because there's a lot of people that say like I'll only watch it subbed versus dubbed. I think about the Cowboy Bebop dub, for example, but that's a very specific situation, but it works for it, where it's a very cultural show taking like place in the future and not on Earth, and just the American actors that they got for the show and the way that they rewrote the script. Even the main director Shinichiro Watanabe is like, no, the English dub did it better than we did here in Japan. I get that's a very specific situation, but it's because of that situation I try to be like, well, try to like take a dub seriously, and if the dub was actually good, then praise it. But 90% of the times it's just people phoning it in. I can acknowledge that.
Yeah, and
for sure.
On that note, I'd like to add that, like, you guys are talking about Studio Ghibli English dubs that you didn't really like, but I remember liking the English dub for Spirited Away. I think they hired some pretty good voice actors for that.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I've seen it.
It's fine.
Isn't Spirit? I'm gonna sound really uncultured. Isn't Spirited Away one of those one of the high end anime movies that got dubbed over?
It was the first to win animated feature at the Oscars.
Okay,
no, it was Shrek.
No, it was the first
was
Japanese anime to win.
Oh, first Japanese. I thought you were just meant in general.
Isn't it the only Japanese too?
Yeah,
probably.
Because Pixar wins it every year now.
What a movie that wasn't Pixar won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Encanto to win.
Spider-Verse one.
I went.
I'm looking forward to Cars 5 winning next.
I went over this recently, just out of curiosity, and it was like a good 75% were Disney over the past like 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is less than I would have I would have thought, like 90%, but it was actually like 75%.
Still a lot though.
Quite a lot.
Just enough so no one gets
the whole like best animation category is just like very poorly handled, because
kids movie.
Kids who like I'm
2047.
a big animation guy. Like I take animation seriously,
Me
but
too.
people voting for these awards, they literally
They
there's
don't give a
people that
shit.
say I just dropped my kid off and then I write Disney.
Oh yes.
That's it. It's just a
Oh
free
my God.
Disney award at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like seeing like people like the people who like vote for on like the Oscars talking about the best animated feature nominees actually had my jaw on the floor. It's just so clear that they don't care about animation.
They don't give a shit about any
It's
movies,
so
honestly.
horrendous.
They're just a bunch of
None.
fucking out-of-touch
None.
rich people
And
that are
they
looking to
just flat
social
out
climb off of
say-
each other and pat each other on the
Oh,
back.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
a bunch of.
flat out
It's just
say
a
they
big
don't-
fucking circle jerk nonsense fest. They don't give a shit about movies. They honestly don't.
Yeah. What really shocked me is that they just flat out say, yeah, we don't care about all these stupid foreign movies. We only care about Disney movies. They've actually said that.
Yeah.
It's legitimately infuriating.
Yeah, and then
Let me
they have
find the
like
article.
then they give like Parasite a a best picture, and they say, oh, we care about foreign films. It's like you care about foreign films for like 5 seconds for one night, not.
Yeah.
Oh
not
yeah,
every
so
day of
progressive.
the year.
We're so
They've,
progressive.
I mean,
they've
like-
just got to show. That's just to show to the woke people that they're actually doing something. That's all it is. It's just a show. It's just like, oh yeah, we are thinking about them. Quickly done. Okay.
Parasite
Yeah,
had
just-
to be like the
everyone-
most accessible movie ever made to win Best Picture. You know, like it had to do a lot
Yeah.
to get there.
A
Whereas
lot of
like
barriers.
Green Book just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
It was a film about race. There we go.
You know what the
Best
weirdest
Picture.
one is? I still can't get over like that movie, Searchlight, winning best
Spotlight?
Picture.
Spotlight?
Yeah,
Spotlight.
that was
sorry,
boring.
Sorry,
Spotlight?
sorry. Apologies. Yeah,
It was a very
it's so boring, I forgot the
unspecial
title.
movie.
No.
But
Fox
it's so-
Searchlight is a
Nothing.
sorry, Searchlight
Searchlight.
Spot-
production
yeah,
company.
It's that and Argo. Those are like two movies where it's like, how the fuck did they win Best
Yeah.
Picture?
Yeah,
Like
I
no one
really
talks
like-
about those two movies anymore.
There's a
Apart
lot
from
of
maybe
films
Argo
that
a little bit.
Fargo
You
was
could
a
say the
very,
same
like-
No,
thing for, like-
Argo. No,
Argo.
Argo. Not Argo.
Oh,
Because Fargo would
Ben
definitely
Affleck.
deserve it.
No, sorry. Yeah, you're remembering a good movie, not
Sorry.
it.
I would give Fargo Best Picture.
Yeah, Fargo is one of the best movies ever.
Like
Oh, yeah.
actually,
What about
really want-
Argo? ARGO.
Yeah, Argo,
Best
directed
Picture.
by Ben Affleck. I actually remember
Did he
really
direct it?
liking Argo
did.
when yeah.
Wow.
I remember really liking it when I first saw it, but I'm not in any rush to see it again.
It's kind of
hasn't really
disposable.
aged-
yeah, okay.
It hasn't aged that well in my memory, and the ending really sucks when they turn it to this big action
Bless you.
thing, and like none of it's believable.
I don't remember any of it. I've seen it. I don't remember a single scene.
The only thing I remember at the end of Argo was just like the guy speaking the language and trying to explain the movie, and then there's these guys rushing to the airplane to like catch them and arrest them, and then they get on the plane and the plane goes. But I do
That
remember
sounds so weird.
No, when the way
Yeah.
you said it, like now I remember, yeah, it was edited like an action scene, but it was just a guy standing there being like, here's a piece of art, this was the movie we're making, here's my hands, and yeah, it was edited like an action scene. Now that is weird. That's
Yeah,
actually
what I-
weird now that I think about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like thinking about Argo's climax more and remembering more about it the more you talk about it. I remember I liked how at first it was like relatively restrained and held back, how it wasn't this big ridiculous action spectacle, but it was just guys like talking in a room and all that. It was just building up
What
tension
came
that
out?
way. I really
What
like
came out? What did it beat though?
I like
year did it
that.
come out?
but,
Argo?
I'm still
I can look
talking.
it up.
I'll look it up.
Argo, IMDb.
Keep going.
Yeah. All right. So no, it's okay. I want to talk more about the ending of Argo. So I remember liking that how restrained the climax was at first, but then like when the bad guys were like running after the plane, like clearly signaling for it to stop, and it's like impossible for the guys in the plane not to see the guys running after it, but they take off anyway, even though that wouldn't make any sense. That just completely shattered my believability of that scene. It was just so infuriating because for the most of the movie, it's kind of like making fun of these like dumb Hollywood tropes and all that. Because the entire plot of the movie is them like trying to shoot this fictional sci-fi movie in this like dangerous place, but in reality, they're just trying to get these people home. So it's like making fun of these Hollywood cliches, but then at the ending, it just embraces them with zero self-awareness. That just really annoyed me. It wasn't even like the ending of adaptation, which it was clearly making fun of those tropes. It just didn't feel like it had any self-awareness, and I just really didn't like that.
So Argo was against Amor. That's one that I
Yeah, I
could
was
have.
about to say.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Wait,
so
well, no,
funny.
not just
Amor
not
was
just
nominated.
Amor,
The
but-
fact that Amor was even nominated
Yeah.
is like a achievement, honestly. Like
Yeah.
for the fact that
Yeah.
the Academy noticed a Hanky Chan movie existed for the second time.
That and the actress in it.
No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
here's the thing, I'm gonna name like
Amor got
she
like
got nominated for
cinematography and director nominations too. It got like 5 Oscar noms.
No, I'm gonna name 2 movies that came out that same year. First one, Django Unchained came out that same year.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino. But
Yeah.
the
I
other
actually don't
one,
like Django very much.
Life of Pi. Like Argo beat out Life of Pi.
The Master.
Yep. Moonrise Kingdom.
I love that movie.
To be honest, Life of Pi wasn't anything special to me. Like, it got a lot of hype, and I watched it, and I was a bit late, and that was the hype. That was the
Better
movie that
than
everybody's
Argo, that's
hyping
for
up.
sure.
To tell you the truth, that's how
Not
I feel
sure.
about Django Unchained, and that's actually the only Quentin Tarantino I actually don't like.
Really?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's understandable.
That's the only Quentin. I like Django Unchained more than I like Kill Bill Volume 2.
The only one I didn't really like was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that's one of my
These
favorites.
are some like big hot takes.
Yeah.
Adam's right. No one ever agrees on,
Just a director with like a lot of not perfect movies. Like outside of maybe Pulp Fiction, you know, all of his movies have problems. They're good. They just
Even Pulp Fiction has problems. So
I just want Quentin Tarantino to make that Star Trek movie he's been wanting to make for fucking 10 years.
honestly,
That's all I
R-rated.
want. I just want him to
but
make
it
that
won't
goddamn
be-
Star Trek movie, and I'll be happy.
It won't
That's
be
all
the
I want.
movie he wants to make. though.
I could care less. I'm not really a Star Trek guy. So.
It would just be interesting to me. Like it's
It'd be
just a
super
guy that I
interesting.
wouldn't. It would just with Star Trek being such like all the films in general have been so focused on like diplomacy and discovery and exploration and stuff like that. For then in Quentin Tarantino to just come in and just smash that
Not the
all
recent
out of the
ones.
fucking way. I'm gonna shove in swear words. I'm gonna shove in blood and gore. I'm gonna shove in all the action you can find. Literally, that'll be interesting to me.
Actually, Quentin Tarantino said he would do none of that for Star Trek.
No, what?
I don't give a
No,
shit.
okay.
Whatever he does.
It's Star Trek. That would be weird.
I just like he's Quentin Tarantino. He's past his prime for sure. I just like.
Oh yeah.
I want him to return to making better movies.
Talking
Like
about,
He's never made a bad movie though. Like that's
Jackie Brown.
That's great. I love
yeah,
Jackie Brown.
he's never made a terrible movie.
Yeah,
there's been no terrible movie.
to say like he like to make good movies again. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
What's your
frankly.
guys' opinion on Death
Did I say
Proof?
good or
That's
better?
personally my
I
favorite.
want
Did I
to
s-
see Death Proof so
You
bad.
said you want him to make a good movie again. Is
No,
what
I
you
love
said.
Death Proof.
Oh,
It's
well, I
not
meant
a
to say
Proof
better. I'm sorry.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's
I
Kurt
think
Russell
Death
and
Proof
Carl.
has great scenes.
Death
That's
Proof
what I
is
think.
for
Death
what it
Proof
is
is awesome.
well executed, but it's just lacking in depth. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
it's
intentional. That's very much intentional. But just by
But
default,
It provides
It's
exactly
so
what I
fun.
want.
This is the problem with Quentin Tarantino. It's like we love the guy, we all like his movies. It's just if we're gonna say they're great, amazing movies, not really. They just got problems, and it's just. I want him to stop making movies. Like of all people, I don't want him to stop making movies. I'll go see them.
I think Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill are like fantastic though.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, Kill
If
Bill,
it's-
Inglourious
yeah.
Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think those are all classics in my opinion, or modern
It's like
classics.
if I'm gonna go and see another Quentin Tarantino movie, and it's gonna be a 2.5, 3 hour long Quentin Tarantino movie, I want it to be amazing. That's all I want. It's like we've had good movies. We've had good movies for the last 10
I mean,
years. I'd say.
The Hateful Eight.
We needed an amazing movie now from Quentin. Like for me, it's like the last amazing movie that he's done has probably been Inglourious Bastards. I love that movie.
Did you not like
Inglourious
the
Basterds-
Hateful Eight?
No, it wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. Like
It's so I don't know. It's so quotable for me. Like there's so many lines in it where it's like
room for one.
I would like to
more.
watch the Netflix version, but I have to
Yeah.
use a VPN to see it.
What?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
US
there's a
only.
version
It's
on
only
Netflix.
US Netflix, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I would argue that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of his best.
You
though. I was
Netflix.
really blown away by it.
I don't think it's Netflix's fault. It's a
No,
rights
is it-
distribution thing. If Netflix owned the rights to the
Uh,
entire film, they would have it in every country. But
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's only in basically everywhere except the U.S. Uncut Gems is a Netflix original film, which
Yeah.
is weird.
Yeah.
In other countries besides America.
Good argument.
Yes.
Damn.
Just to bring it back to animated movies, has anybody seen Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires?
You mentioned
heard
that
of it.
a few months ago. That
Yeah,
it was
because
like,
he's now released the movie on streaming and on rent and buy services and so on.
Interesting title.
that
it
was
was-
the claymation
You know what?
one, right?
Yeah, it was the stop animation one.
that looked
But it's
cool.
like the guy who's been working on it since 2001 was the early draft that he started
my
up with
God.
it. So and he has been working hard on this movie. He had it finished around about 2017, I think, but he then struggled to try and get it distributed properly, and then it finally got us to a limited cinema release end of last year, and he's now released it on streaming and on rental services and so on now.
What did you
And
say? it's called?
What's this movie called? I want to see this.
Chuck Steele.
I've put it into the
Okay, thanks.
into the chat.
of
Chuck
the
Steele, The
Trampires?
Night of the Trampires is a stop animation movie, basically a parody of every 1980s action movie trope based in America,
Oh.
like blockbuster
Oh,
movies
that's
and
awesome.
so on. It's fucking brilliant. Like the animation is absolute quality. Like that's the best part of the movie for me, and everything else is fantastic in it. It's a British movie, so some of the humor is of a taste.
Yeah, no, that's
I
fine.
will-
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will
Yeah,
put that in there.
I love
mainly,
British
but,
humor. So
but it was really, I really enjoyed it, and for it's like if you can rent it for like it's like $3.99 on Amazon. I really recommend to do so.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
really,
next
it's a
to nothing.
really good movie.
While we're on sorry.
No, go on.
Well, while we're on the subject of animation, I actually want to recommend an animated film that actually that really blew my mind recently. Really just because of how absurd it is, because I really like absurdist humor like it. It's an anime film from 2004 called Mind Game. It's one of the directors of Devilman Crybaby, and I think it's
Okay.
like just one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, much yeah.
It's like absurdist humor is a perfect description for Chuck Steele. To be honest, it's very absurd humor, but it's really like it was a pleasant surprise when I rented it. It was a really pleasant surprise because I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible, but it was actually very, very good and really, really good. I was really enjoying it.
did you know that Richard Linklater has a new Rotoscope movie coming out like next month?
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
I
What's
literally
it
just
called?
it's called like Apollo. It's Apollo something. Like Apollo. I literally just saw a trailer for it, like, and I'm like, what? This is happening? What? I had never heard of this.
Kiki, what did you want to say?
Apollo 10 and a half. Apollo 10 and a half.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Kiki,
Just
you were...
announced yesterday.
Yeah. If I'm not cutting anything off.
Sure.
Yeah. I was just on like the subject of like animated movies. I actually did get to see Encanto this month, and it's like I wish I liked it more. I really wish I liked it more.
I
like,
liked the first half of it a lot.
There's a
Oh,
lot
really?
to love about it, but I feel like it was shackled by the fact that it's a Disney movie.
It
felt
yeah
incredibly rushed.
Yeah,
like
it
the
started to fall
exploration of
apart in the
family
second half for me.
dynamics.
I
Yeah.
found most of it to not be very interesting.
I liked the music a lot.
The music
Yeah, the
was
music
great.
was nice, but I have to say, Salamancer, I'm very disappointed because you told me that there was a song called The Lost Caliente, and I literally made this image because of that song, and it wasn't
Hold
there.
on.
That's
You
funny.
hurt my feelings.
Okay. No, I didn't say Los Caliente, did I?
No,
It
you
was-
said Lost Caliente.
It's Los Oruguitas, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a
That's
really,
it backtracking.
really not
Tortugas.
interesting song.
Yeah.
And
Don't
it's
worry.
the one that got nominated. And
Yeah, don't worry.
it's
I was
funny
just
because
fucking
when I was
around.
reading the Oscar nominations, it said Encanto, and it wasn't We Don't Talk About Bruno.
It's-
and I read the
yeah.
title, and I'm like, what the fuck is this song?
It's
I don't
the most
remember
boring
this.
one. So I think
And
best
then
song
I
will
look it
probably
up
go
on
to
YouTube, and it's like I don't remember this.
yeah. It's
I
it's
don't
the most
remember it
boring
at
song in the entire. It's the worst one they possibly could
Yeah.
have picked. So I think
I feel like-
best song. If best song goes to Encanto, it's because they weren't the Academy just saw the title of the film and thought of the other songs. But if that's not what's gonna happen, then it'll probably go to
Yeah,
Billy Irish.
they've done this before.
Billy
like,
Irish. Billy Irish.
Like
Yeah.
I think for the Lion King,
Billy.
For the Lion King, like for the original, the one that won was, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Like,
Yeah.
of all the ones, like
I mean,
that's the
it's
one
not
that
so
won.
much more It's still one, but like,
Yeah.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight
no
isn't
bad
like so
songs.
much noticeably worse than the other song. They're all great songs. Like,
Yeah, but it's not as
It's-
memorable as like
It's not
you know,
horrible,
Circle
but
of
I do
Life
think
or
it's the
whatever.
worst song.
yeah.
Yeah, but Circle
Well,
of
it
Life.
It's a
so-
love theme. It's a
Okay.
love theme. That's all it is. It's a love theme. That's the only reason.
It's
lot of
whatever
songs in that
Disney
movie.
campaigns for in
Like-
their for-year consideration campaign.
Some
And we
Morning
don't talk
Report.
about
Yes, there we
Bruno
go,
didn't
sorry.
start
The
getting
worst one.
popular until they were already campaigning for the other one. So
Which is hilarious.
yeah, it's sad.
The Morning
Shit, I'm
Report
hyped for this
is the
new
worst Lion
Linklater
King song.
Rotoscope Netflix.
Yeah, it looks
April
cool.
1st. Damn.
It looks really good.
Well, it
Cool.
might not be real. It's April Fool's joke.
Yeah, same
Well,
with
yeah, you should,
fucking the new Jared Leto thing.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Morbius.
It might not be a real movie.
It's definitely not a real movie. Just look at it.
I
What do you
think.
mean by what do you mean
Thank
by
you,
Leto-
thank you, Dusty, for the super chat.
Jared Leto gave me Nick Cage vibes in the trailer, which makes me think this is a remake of Vampire's Kiss or something.
Hopefully.
Oh God.
Please,
Oh,
please.
God.
A B C D E F.
South by Southwest is happening now? Shit. I should try to attend it one year.
This is actually a good question of like how animated is this really? Like, is rotoscope considered animation? Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say so.
I do.
Absolutely.
I do Rotoscope.
you know.
It's 100% it's animation.
You should watch.
You can use like
you
I
should
mean
watch-
even films that aren't rotoscoped often use like they'll sometimes map things out with a camera first just to get like perspective or like body movements correct, you know? So just using things as reference.
Okay.
You should watch the behind the scenes for like Waking Life and them explaining how they drew each frame. It's like insane the amount of work. And it's like and they have to like follow like this chart of like making sure all the colors are consistent because they tried doing it wild colors and then realized that looked like a mess in the first draft of the movie. So they had to like make sure it was all strict and it's just like so much work and you got like 6 different animators doing different scenes
Mhm.
with like a drawing pad that's like my drawing pad's about like this size. Theirs was like fucking huge and it's like barely
Yeah.
fits on their desk and it's like whoa, and they made a whole movie with this technology back in like 2002 or something.
Yeah, at this point I feel like you should only have to draw every second frame and then have the computer figure out the rest and then if there's issues you fix it. I don't think you should have to manually.
No, that's what they did with Waking Life.
Oh, that's what they did?
was
Okay.
Crazy is yeah, it's like you draw
And a Stranger Darkly.
you draw one frame. It was really confusing. But the guy was explaining it, and I need to rewatch it. But you draw one frame, and then you go to another frame, and it fills in the blank. But it's
Okay.
it says there's like
That's what I was
But he
thinking
was
of.
like, there's really strict rules. Like you can't just do that all the time. You have to like know when to do it or something. I
Yeah,
might
for
be
like
butchering
fast
that,
movements
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Can I confirm that is so for because I rotoscoping is that like Titan AE
No.
kind of
No, it's more like metal, heavy metal.
No.
Heavy metal.
Yeah.
okay, got you. No problems. I'm just
Yeah. The thing is, I've seen some bad rotoscoping, but I've seen some good rotoscoping. And like really good ones look really good, but it costs a lot of money because time. You got to pay employees time. You know.
Yeah.
Can Loving Vincent be considered an example of rotoscoping?
I
'Cause
think that
like-
was.
What was the movie?
Loving
The Vincent Van Gogh one.
When it was like
I don't
on
remember.
that was
painting.
Rotoscope. That was Rotoscope, but but the cinematography was still boring
I don't
somehow.
I don't know if you'd call that rotoscoping because that's like
No, it was because they were paying over each frame, if I remember the behind the scenes correctly.
that one you're not painting over like a frame with you're literally like you have a model here and then you have the canvas here and you're painting the model and you're trying to get references for shading. So that's not you're not drawing over the person. You have like the model there and you have a reference.
Wait, hold on.
Local Blue
It was done.
Jay, what were you trying to? You got something you want to say?
Yeah, not an animated movie, but
Sure.
Smiling Friends used rotoscoping with some
Yeah.
of its animated scenes, and it's all of the animation in that show is like really well done, especially with like they took the Lord of the Rings animated movie,
Yeah.
and took the same animation style. And it
I
was
haven't
just, like,
seen that, but I got the reference for sure.
so well done.
Yeah, what did you think of that, Adam?
It was
I
dope.
really loved
I enjoyed it a
So,
lot.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
like,
just
rated it good things.
people. So
Yeah.
like people.
I'm glad
people forget
it's.
that the entire show is animated by like 2 people, and then you have the guy who's the writer.
Oh wow.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
100%.
Well, I'm
Those
glad
new-
it's
new grounds
successful.
guys. Yeah.
Seems like we'll be getting
they
more
were
of it.
trying
So.
to get
successful.
Yeah, because
They
I
tried to get
Michael
Chris Chan in it.
because I wanted to work on the show. Like this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, right when the pilot was about to come out, and he literally said, "It's just 3 people working on the show."
Yeah.
So that there's no reason to add a 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Well, with each episode being 10 minutes, it really gave
Yeah.
like them so much like room to like pack the episode full of depth and just humor. And
Yeah, I
it's
like the
really
stop
great.
motion in there too.
I wasn't a fan of
Yeah.
like the pilot, but I think it got like progressively funnier like the more it went on the show.
That's fair.
I think it's all pretty
That's fair.
consistently funny.
Yeah.
I think
I've seen the pilot and I really like it. I
I'm
think it's a
excited
good
to
way.
see this now.
I think it's a good way of making like feel good comedy that's like genuinely uplifting and genuinely funny because so many other people just get that wrong.
I would call it more
Smiling Friends just
kind of like
nails it.
morbid than feel good.
Yeah, morbid.
I think it's like juxtaposing the aesthetic
And
of a
that's what
feel
makes
good
it
show
funny.
with
Mhm.
disturbing
It's
elements.
optimistic in a
there's-
disturbing way.
There's like an interview
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the creator, or one of the creators, like Zach, and he's like talking about like he was trying to explain why Smiling Friends is trying to be better than other adult comedy shows. And like the story he uses to explain it is him accidentally telling the people who were working on what was that show called? The what? Big Mouth. He accidentally told people he accidentally told people who were working on Big Mouth that he thought that show was a piece of shit.
Good.
Al banned himself from ever
Ooh.
giving opinions in LA. He's like, I'm never giving an opinion in LA ever again.
It's funny.
Well,
Yeah.
they needed to hear it.
okay,
They needed to hear how bad is like Big Mouth was because Big Mouth is a
Yeah.
big pile of dog shit.
No,
It's
I
like-
It's
wrong.
terrible.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong. Like, it's
Uh,
fucking terrible.
Travis, were you trying to say something earlier?
Oh, yeah, well, I wanted to mention we were on the topic of rotoscope animation. Did any one of you see the Amazon show Undone?
I did. So good. I
yeah,
loved
I
it a
really
lot.
loved it. I really loved it. Really creative animation in there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it was I think the animation was done by the same people who did like A Stranger Darkly.
Oh yeah.
Scanner Darkly?
Yeah.
A Scanner Darkly, that's right.
Yeah.
Scared.
Oh, I'll check it
I have
out.
a question. Is it rotoscoping if you film the whole movie, all right, in live action? You film the whole movie in live action, and then you put it in a computer software, and the software makes it look like it was rotoscoped.
That's Joe Haver.
It still would be animation, I think.
Even though the computer-
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows?
we might. It's a new genre. we might need
New
to
genre?
invent a new word for it.
Well, it's like what
Whoa!
think about like like,
Live
when they-
action.
What is
Yeah,
it when they
it's
do
it's
the,
real.
like, the cutscenes for like video games and stuff like that? It's like that's basically you're filming a live action person just with a fucking bodysuit with dots all over it, and then you're animating over it.
Yeah,
it's hyper realistic.
Yeah,
It's like that's what they did with Last of Us. That's
People
what they've done
tend
with all those
to
like
people
movies
tend to
now.
refer to rotoscope when it's literally line by line, like
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
visible. It's very clear that it has like very human, like uncanny valley movements.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
tend to say it's rotoscope.
Because mocap is different, but I wonder,
Oh, yeah, mocap,
when
that's
you're
it.
applying it to like a 2D aesthetic, it's like
Well,
how
Would it be the
I
same
guess
kind of
lines
thing?
can get blurred a little bit.
Well, no, there was even a couple Disney movies like Snow White and the
Mm.
Seven Dwarfs, for example. They had rotoscoping for the dancing
True.
sequence.
Yeah, but that was like the time, like in the 30s, like rotoscope was a big trend.
Nobody knew how to
and also,
animate
like, kind
things
of a
yet.
cheat. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but like at
use-
least like with the Cab Calloway rotoscopes, they would exaggerate the rotoscope. So they would rotoscope it and then like play around with it. Snow White's kind of boring because it's like they're literally just
Yeah, the thing is, we have to use terms to differentiate. Like, what's the difference between me drawing Mickey Mouse just like paper by paper and using references, versus me like, okay, here's a bunch of film that we shot from live action, and I'm tracing it. That's another process. It's like we have to have words for these different processes, so that 20 years from now, if I say, "Hey, I want to make a movie, but we do it rotoscope," everybody in the room knows what I'm talking about. Not I have to.
I think most people would. And
Yeah.
I do a lot of rotoscoping in my job, and like I think most people ask me for that because I do a lot of that. So I think a lot of people, if they're looking for that, they know what it is.
Yeah.
Were you're trying to say something, Nico?
Oh, I wanted to ask that. Didn't that movie Waltz with Bashir do something like that?
That was
Like,
Flash
Ooh, yeah.
animation.
Yeah, that was
right?
different. I don't know if they used references. I don't know if they rotoscoped anything, but they were using like Flash animation, which was kind of weird because like there's some parts where it doesn't look amazing, but it was definitely one of the earliest movies to do that because it was considered more like budgetary.
Okay. I think well, I know you don't like this movie, but I think Flea did it.
Oh yeah, I was just about
Did
to
Flea
mention
do
that.
Flash animation? I mean, at this
thought
point,
that
Flash
was-
animation
I-
could be you could
It-
do anything and more things in
I
Flash
thought
than
that
you
was
could before.
rotoscope.
Flea
That
is not
wasn't
rotoscope, that's for
like-
sure.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just
Yeah,
seen
Flea, I
screenshots
just
of
can't
it.
get behind aesthetically.
Yeah. Even in like the
I
trailer for
started
Flea,
watching
which
it and
is
did not like the style.
I was just
Yeah,
I couldn't get into anything.
yeah,
I
like
watched
even in the trailer, in which like you're supposed to see like the best shots and all that, the animation just still looks pretty janky and choppy, and I just didn't like it at all. And like but hearing so many people rave about Flea kind of reminds me of Waltz with Bashir because they're both these kind of animated documentaries in a sense.
Mhm.
Would you say they're kind of comparable?
I mean, Waltz with
With
Bashir is a lot better in my opinion.
With
Yeah.
Flea, I feel like Flea
Yeah.
would. I feel like Flea's animation doesn't do its subject matter and story justice.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, there's no. It's like, what's the point in
Very
animating
jank.
it even?
I
You're
saw
not
it
like
at
using the
otherwise.
animation to enhance anything.
I saw it at a festival in Chicago, and I couldn't really get behind the frame rate.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, the frame rate.
Talking about it was really choppy for me, so
Very, very jank.
How many frames was it per second?
I can't remember, but it was like moving very slow, like a stop motion.
Oh, like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It's like Chuck Steele, by the way. It's like it was pictured at 24
bringing it
frames
back.
per second.
Chuck Steele, baby. We just gotta watch it.
I'm just gonna keep on. I'm plugging it. I'm gonna keep on plugging it. I don't care.
I've
I'm
watch
gonna
listed
plug this
it.
thing. Yeah. Can I also? I just want a quick question. It's like what was it? Oh yeah. Should I go and pay to watch Uncharted? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Thank God
I
for
didn't even
that.
see it, and I'll tell you no.
I haven't seen it either, and I have not played the games, and I will tell you no.
It's just it's so boring. It's so boring and pointless.
I saw it last night, actually.
Yeah,
I can feel you. It's like feel how boring it was by just
Adam
saying
said
it's so boring.
Adam said that the physics are worse than the game.
They are.
Yeah, they are. He's right.
I watched the trailer and I was just like, because when I saw that it's like the part where Tom Holland gets kicked off the plane completely, I'm like, well, he's dead. He has to be. Like, what? Why am I watching this movie now? Why should I have to watch this movie? So
there's no point to
that's
it.
fine. I'll just wait till when it comes out on stream.
Exactly.
It's not even worth your time when it's on a stream.
Really?
It's not even. It's not worth anything. There's no point watching it. It's a fucking waste of space.
How long was it?
2 hours.
2 hours, I think. Yeah.
2 hours?
Ew.
Jesus.
What?
Yeah, I got like a beer
shit.
in the middle of the movie.
Oh my god.
That's like Space Jam 2 being 2 hours.
I do not.
Oh my god.
Something I do not like about like Hollywood movies nowadays is like I do not like the idea of me going to watch a movie just to see how much they screwed up the thing I love, but I still paid them.
I just saw it because I knew that Alex and Ralph would probably want to talk about it. Sort of like it's something that we would all want to complain about, and it would make for a funny podcast thing.
Because also it's like it was just also the casting as well was just
It's
really
just so
weird.
stupid.
It's like Tom Holland as the main character just didn't make any sense to me.
Like Mark Wahlberg being like super upset that he's not Nathan Drake. Like, isn't
Yeah,
there?
because he was supposed to be Nathan
He
Drake
was originally
10
supposed
years
to be
ago.
Nathan Drake.
Like he was first cast to be Nathan Drake 10
No.
years ago, but it's also because he's butthurt because fucking what was it? Somebody released a 15-minute short movie with Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, and everyone went, "That's the guy who needs to be Nathan Drake."
Yeah,
and Mark Wahlberg's butthurt about it.
It doesn't
That's
even
all it
like.
is.
It doesn't even need to be like him. Like you could make a story that's continuing off of the games, and Nathan Drake is like older. You could have Nathan Fillion doing that, and it would be it would be a fine. There would be nothing wrong with it.
No.
But then you'd have to throw someone else in the movie to like I don't know get people in the seats because Nathan Fillion doesn't exactly draw crowds the same way Tom Holland does. I guess so.
No,
it's a financial decision.
Because the original voice actor for Nathan Drake was in the Uncharted movie. I've seen the clip of
Yeah, just a tiny cameo.
Tiny little cameo. But I was just like, well, have him be Nathan Drake. It's not hard.
Yeah, why
Just
not?
make him Nathan Drake.
He doesn't even look like bad, you know.
No, like it just doesn't make any sense.
Spider-Man.
Movie about
have like Bryan Cranston be Sully. That would be nice.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's the guy that played Sully in the short film with Nathan Fillion was the guy that played the baddie in Avatar in 2009.
Oh, that dude. The
that
orange
dude.
man.
Yeah, and he was decent in it. Again, it was just there was nothing to complain about. The short film was a really good short film, and everyone was going, "That's the guy who needs to be Nathan Drake." And yeah, Sony went the opposite way. Obviously, they were going, "No, we're going to put a young guy in it because we need to make a franchise out of this." Because we're gonna be.
Are they gonna make a sequel? Is the question.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Sony has tried just so much to make these like franchises, but they just always fail. They tried it with like the Amazing Spider-Man. They tried it with Ghostbusters, and I'm sure they've like tried it with other things as well. And now they're trying it with Uncharted. It's so funny.
The movie actually did make money. That's according to Sony.
Yeah.
The Uncharted movie has been making money, and given another 2 months, they'll probably make enough money to fund a sequel.
Not to mention it had the biggest sequel bait of like I've ever seen since the Super
Whoa.
Mario
Oh God!
Don't tempt me. I kind of want to watch the movie now, just because you said that, just to wait.
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna. If I do watch the movie, it'll be on streaming only. But
Watch it on 2 times. Watch it on 2 times speed.
I will watch
that
it.
man I've seen with Super Mario Brothers.
I do love Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers is so much better than Uncharted. Don't compare the two.
It'll be better than the whatever's coming out in December this year
with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you say that? Chris
It's a
Pratt,
me.
he's so cool.
He's a meme. That's all it is. We're just
Jack Black, Seth Rogen, Keegan Michael Key.
And Charlie
Yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah, Charlie
Seth
Day.
Rogen and Keegan Michael Key. It's gonna be a Lion King 2019 reunion.
I just like I only associate that casting with Donkey's reaction to it. That was really funny.
Yeah.
So
What the fuck?
So cool.
He's so cool.
Joe
So
Pesci's
cool.
playing the bomb.
What are you trying to say, Boards of
He's got a-
Cinema?
Well, you know, if you guys are gonna talk about the the new Super Mario Brothers movie on one episode, you have to talk about the old one in the '90s on the same episode.
Maybe
That'll be
we'll
really
see.
funny.
We'll see if there's too much many other things to talk about in that.
Yeah.
but-
That seems
Adam,
like something Ralph
maybe.
would recommend.
Adam,
Yeah.
do you think you would watch that like a Buddies and Pals Super Mario movie?
The new one?
Do it.
Or the old
the
one?
old one.
Do it.
No.
Should I?
Do
Yes.
I think it'd be a great
Yes.
episode.
Really
It'd be
like
terrific.
weird and corny.
Torture
movie.
Gael, please, I beg you.
Not that bad.
I like
Just torture Gael.
I like when it's like a mediocre movie. That's Adam and Pals.
Oh yeah, same. I'm looking forward to the Stormbreaker one. I can't wait for the Stormbreaker one. That'll be so funny.
Alex Rider,
Stormbreaker. I actually agree with that. I think Stormbreaker would be quite funny.
What is that?
Rider movie.
Stormbreaker. Because
What is
so bizarre.
Stormbreaker?
It's like a
the one
spy movie.
It's the
Oh,
one I
yeah, for,
suggested
like,
to you
little
before, Adam.
kids.
Yeah, the one with Alex Pettifer. It's like all the big.
Oh,
British
that,
actors, like
yeah.
Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
one.
that one like being a lot like
It's on my list.
abduction, basically.
It is kinda like
a lot.
abduction.
Yeah, it's a lot like abduction and like that. It's like that sort of like.
It
yeah,
has Mickey
fits in with
Rourke.
that. Yeah,
And,
Mickey Rourke's in it.
Stephen Fry is in it for like 2 seconds.
Robbie
And Jimmy
Coltrane's in it
Carr.
for 2 seconds. Yeah, Jimmy Carr's in it. Jimmy Carr's in it.
And
It's only acting credit.
Ewan McGregor. I remember Ewan McGregor.
Damien, Matt. Is it Matt Damien?
Wait,
Or
let me
something?
look this up.
Not Matt Damon. Fucking the ginger guy that was in.
Damien Hirst. Is that
That's
his
it,
name?
Damien
Yeah.
Hirst. Something
was
like
he
that.
in
Yeah,
it?
he's in it.
Okay,
Yeah, he was
okay.
the bad. He was the guy that hung upside down for the helicopter.
No way. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Hey, it's free on Tubi.
I think he
I
was
won't
doing
have to
Band of
pay
Brothers
for
at
it.
the time as well. That's so funny.
I went to the cinema to see that. My mum and dad.
I went to
took me
see
the
it. I
c-
went to see it
yeah.
at the cinema, and
Like-
all I remember was the jellyfish.
Yeah, we better
Yeah.
stop talking about it though. But yeah, it's like that.
It's so
Oh,
such a
it's
weird
such
movie.
it's such a silly movie. It's such a silly movie. It's perfect for an Adam and Pals. It
It
really
has a
is perfect
Texas.
for-
It has a Texas woman doing a terrible German accent. Like,
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And Mickey Rourke's in it. Did we mention that Mickey Rourke's in it?
Yeah.
I don't think you mentioned Mickey Rourke was in it.
No,
Yeah, and his character motivations are really funny. Like
they're brilliant.
why he's a
Storm
villain.
Reacher.
All right. Speaking of movies that are really funny bad, I watched Going Overboard for the podcast, and now I want every single Adam Sandler movie to start with him facing the camera and being like, "Yeah, we know this movie's bad, but we don't care."
Yeah.
He
pretty
doesn't have
much.
to. He doesn't have to face the camera to tell people
Does
that.
that-
Everybody
Just
knows that.
His
that
posters
happen
tell you that.
in the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, literally in the first 5 minutes. Watch it. The
Uh,
whole movie's on YouTube for free.
In the US.
Post
In
that
the
scene. I'll post a
In the
link in
US.
chat.
It only works in the US.
Oh, shit.
Just to warn people.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess that justifies it.
Yeah.
You could just
link.
torture the US. You could just torture the US. That's fine.
Going overboard
it's
is
as
just actual
justified
torture.
as that time Deadpool 2 is like, if we acknowledge the writing is bad, no one
Yeah.
can say the writing is bad.
Yeah, like, oh my god. Don't even get me started on that. Like, I just got flashbacks to like the Chip and Dale trailer
Yeah,
when you said
yes.
that.
Oh my
And-
god.
and what's so bizarre about like the marketing for the new Chip and Dale thing is that it's clearly trying to do the same thing as like the new Matrix movie, which is like, ha ha ha, we're bad, but we know it, so who cares? But like
hang on,
the Matrix.
hang on. Chip and Dale is getting a movie now.
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah, they
know?
are. It's unfortunate.
Chip and
I'm
Dale.
so sorry, you know.
Pull it up right now. Pull it up right now.
Chip and Dale.
It's
Chip and Dale hasn't
Go
been.
to my
Chip and Dale hasn't been
channel.
relevant for like 30 fucking
Go
years.
to my
What's going
channel
on?
and watch Adam react to it.
Yeah.
What if the chipmunks is now CGI now and they're trying
Oh
to
my
be
God.
self-aware about
It's
it?
crazy how much of a market there is for like
CGI.
shitting on
They have
kids
fucking
things.
2D
Seth Rogen-
pretending to be,
Seth
they have
Rogen is in
3D
this one,
pretending to be
too.
2D in it. It's so fucking awful looking.
I was looking at just the view count on that is like higher than, given the amount of days it's posted than like a bunch of other shit. I'm like, wow. People just love to see other people shit on kids movies.
Literally.
Yeah, again, just
Here you
what's so
go.
bizarre about
I
like
think-
the marketing
yeah.
for like the Chip and Dale thing versus the marketing for the Matrix 4 is that like even though they're both like trying to be meta, even in that haha we're bad but we know it kind of way, like all the marketing for the Matrix Resurrections had none of the meta stuff. Whereas like with Chip and Dale, the meta stuff is just the entire trailer.
Yeah, it probably won't be like the whole movie. It'll probably be a part of the movie.
Matrix. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, after watching the trailers for like The Matrix,
It's
Let's
not-
Get It Started, I
Thank
was
you.
legitimately shocked to like see reviews coming out for it being like, oh, it's so meta and self-aware. When I was like, what? The trailers made it look like just another Matrix movie. Why are people saying
Yeah.
it's meta?
Oh.
I feel like people don't understand what meta is these days anymore.
There were people like on the fucking highlight, like
Man. I
like
complete.
before the movie even came out, people on the highlights channel were aggressively defending it and saying how Adam is wrong.
Yeah. People just love
Why?
Keanu.
Man.
Keanu Reeves is.
You're all-
fan
you're all
base is
fucking
genuinely
stupid.
fascinating.
And like the
Why are
funniest
you on my
thing-
channel?
and like
Especially it's like,
Get
it's like-
out.
especially with Keanu, it's like what was it? Because my favorite clip from Keanu recently was like, it's because during the interviews and so on, like for Matrix 4, they brought up the fact that apparently the most requested modded person to have sex with in Cyberpunk 2077 is Keanu Reeves' character, and Keanu was
Of
like,
course.
"Oh, that's really cute. That's really lovely." And his co-star, I can't remember the name of the actress that he was with. in Matrix 4. Yeah, it's like she turned and went, I'm good. I don't want that, thanks. I don't want that. If I was in a video game, I want that to happen as well. I'm like, what the
Didn't
fuck?
she, like, post an article about CD Projekt Red trying to like get rid of a mod that added Keanu sex or something?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that was the most requested thing. It was like it's like everybody just wanted to have sex with Keanu.
Did
That's
you
all
hear
they-
that? Did you hear that Nintendo DMCA'd a 3D model of Bowser's cock, but the model didn't show anything but the cock. So Nintendo DMCAing it is basically just saying this is canon what Bowser's cock looks like. Because it didn't show anything but the penis, but they DMCA'd it. So
I approve. Just saying.
so Nintendo's like, no, that's our
I
property
approve.
right there.
That's our penis.
Yeah.
That's our
Wait,
cock. It's,
do you think they were told?
It's
Do you think they were
Nintendo's
told?
collective
Do you
penis.
think they were told?
That is
This
what
belongs
Nintendo's
to
this is
us.
Nintendo's penis.
It belongs in a museum.
it belongs to the museum.
Do you think someone
Nintendo
told them?
about to announce a sex toy line.
Please.
Did someone tell
Oh,
them,
God.
or like do
Bad
they have like a
Koopa.
team?
Dude, don't give
Bad
like a-
Dragon Bowser. They're doing a
Thank
collab
you.
with Bad Dragon to make a Bowser dildo.
Yeah, Bad
Please.
Koopa.
That's the models for.
Next year will be the Pikachu penis coming
Oh
soon.
god, no. It's like an inch and a half long. It looks like a tiny
A
pickle.
little bit of a trouble. 5-6 years
It's got a built-in taser.
Just got little eStim nodes on it.
Why don't you talk, Pikachu?
This is so
It's
bad.
because
Come on, Pikachu. Why don't you talk?
That was the funniest fucking
Come on.
audience reaction of all time.
The fuck?
it was the no, it wasn't
They
the
have-
funniest. It was the best audience reaction. Of
That's
all
what I'm
time.
saying. It's so funny. Because they've
It's-
like
it's
conditioned a
amazing.
generation to just hear Pika Pika, so you hear it say something else.
I
and it
just-
makes your fucking skin crawl.
I just thought it was funny that it was a theater of adults at that film.
That's not surprising.
Why wouldn't there be?
I know
Why
it's
wouldn't
fun.
there be?
Well, it's funny that they're still making shit for kids, even though kids don't care about Pokemon, and it's just millennials.
That is-
Yeah.
double down on that. I find it
Ah!
that a lot of these companies don't
Well,
know half
kids-
their audience. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
Kids
just
still buy Pokemon.
180 where like, oh, now we're making
damn it.
Pokemon games and they're rated M. Like, you can't do that, but
They
you
could.
generally should know that okay, we're catering to an older audience now. We probably should do stuff catering to an older audience. But
Well, they're doing the
I don't know.
nostalgia thing because they keep including like the original Pokemon in a lot of these things. It's like, okay, well, you understand that much at least. They're somewhat self-aware, I guess.
Yeah.
Kiki, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, I just had the dumbest fucking idea ever. So
no.
on the subject of the Bowser penis thing.
Oh no.
Oh no.
God.
If any of
Oh,
you
no.
guys have been playing Elden Ring,
Yeah.
just imagine that one walking like building thing, except instead of that, it's the Nintendo headquarters, and instead of a bell, it's Bowser's penis.
Nice. Well, I haven't played the game yet, but
The
I don't know
modders
how
will.
you play the game.
The modders will break that
very
game and make that
difficult.
happen. The modders will
I've
do.
been-
well,
will
you've
make
given
that
someone an
happen.
idea then.
I've been playing Elden Ring. I don't know if I'm that far.
That's like the
Oh,
first 10, 15
okay.
hours of the game. You should
You
I'll
know,
play it
it's-
eventually.
That's not too far.
The Walking
Elden Ring is alongside all the other games of like I don't get it personally because it's like I want to play games to relax. I don't want to play a game to a point where I'm like fucking getting more and more infuriated because I keep getting killed by the same boss.
You're not a
over and
masochist. That's the
over again.
thing. I love
Yeah.
it. I love
That's
having
understandable.
Yeah.
Oh, you clearly don't play Animal Crossing. The
Like-
chores.
I don't have a Nintendo. That's why I don't play Animal Crossing. But okay.
Literally don't.
When
own
I
an
die-
air
What I
fryer.
personally
I don't own any Nintendo products. I don't give any of my money to Nintendo. Go fuck themselves.
I only play on the KFC console.
Yeah. I can't believe that's
Console.
actually real.
Is that ever going to be a thing?
I don't think
I
so.
am.
It's already out.
Is
It
it?
is?
What?
Apparently,
What?
it's just a
No
PC.
What console?
I'm like,
KF console.
Oh,
KFC console.
Crispy console.
I thought
Did
it
you
was a shit. I thought it was a shit post, and then it turned out to be real.
Did you ever see that Twitter thread between like the official KFC account and Sonic the Hedgehog?
I don't want to.
Yeah, no.
I
Let's
don't
not go
want to.
there. Oh, that sounds bad.
Hey Adam, are you looking forward to Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
Mm, I mean, not really. No. I guess I'll have to watch
It was
it.
weird.
Am I
It was
wrong in
weird
saying that?
when-
Am I wrong in saying that Idris Elba is playing Knuckles?
He's
Yeah,
doing
and
it.
then, and then he
He's-
yeah, and then
he's-
he said like he doesn't understand why people say his voice is sexy in it, or
He doesn't-
something along those
he doesn't-
lines.
The
No,
hell?
Knuckles-
Hasn't he realised that it's like that fucking it's like the British media have been asking him to be James Bond for the last 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. Like
If he's smart, he won't do it because I feel like everyone who plays James Bond, their career just dies.
I
Well,
mean, but
like
you
that-
get a
that-
good 10 years before it dies.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
dies, but you get a lot of money from it. So fuck
Yeah,
it.
well,
Sure,
Daniel
I
Craig's
get-
gonna be
yeah.
in the new fucking Knives Out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knives
So
Out
he's still
2,
got
yeah.
shit he's doing.
Wait, there's a sequel to
I
that?
But
guess,
there's a
but I
sequel?
They're
thought,
making one, yeah.
There's only
Yeah,
Yeah.
That worries
now.
me.
It's gonna be a trilogy.
Yeah, they're making 2
Yeah.
sequels.
Yeah.
I hope it's as good as the first, but I highly doubt it.
Edward Norton's in it or something.
You never
I
know.
love the first one.
There's a lot. There's a
It's,
lot you can do with it, given what they said they'll be doing conceptually.
Mhm.
So I don't think,
Mm.
unlike other sequels, I don't think they're like stuck in a corner. You know.
No,
they're-
it's, look at Sean Connery. Sean Connery is like performed well in some movies after James Bond.
Yeah.
Like I loved him in Hunt for Red October, even though his fucking accent was off all
Hey.
the fucking time.
Sean
I
Connery
don't
and
know
The
if
Rock,
he's ever
baby.
been a good actor though.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a single movie like the one where he won an Oscar for. I wouldn't call that a good
Yeah?
performance.
Indiana
Like,
Jones.
what was
I
that?
thought he was very good in that. The
Sean Connery
Untouchables?
and
The Untouchables?
yeah.
Yeah, he's really great in that.
I don't know. It's a bit of a ridiculous movie. Like I can't with the I don't know. There's like
It's
one
very
part
pulpy.
that spoils it.
Like,
Yeah.
but that's
I'll be right
intentional.
back. I gotta pee.
Have
Don't
fun.
forget how popular Sean Connery's performance in Indiana Jones 3 was. The
Yeah.
Last
Oh, yeah.
Crusade.
Yeah.
He was great in that. He was really good in
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
really enjoyed that.
I
Like
didn't know that was Sean Connery when
I
was.
remember him being all right in Highlander. Highlander 2, not so much.
I've not watched Highlander, but from the trailer for the clips I've seen of it, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it.
What about The
It's
Rock,
a very
baby?
strange movie, but Queen's music
You
is
ever
Never
seen The
seen
Rock?
Never seen The Rock. No.
So
I've seen The
thing I
Rock.
wanna
The Rock's good. The Rock's good.
The only thing I want to say about Sean Connery is that he turned down Lord of the Rings for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, because he thought that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was going to become a franchise. Like he thought that was going to be his franchise movies, but
he picked the wrong one.
He picked the wrong one, buddy.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah,
honestly,
Ian
I
McKellen
don't
was
think
a
he'd be
lot
that great in.
Wasn't he
Lord of
supposed
the
to be
Rings.
Gandalf? That would suck.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of bad.
Suck.
That would be
really
funny.
bad.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
People don't know what.
You
shall not pass. People don't know what he says when Gandalf like falls. You know, like fly you fools. Like like people have no idea what he's saying. Yeah, people always like misunderstand what he's saying. If it was Sean Connery, it would be even more confusing.
So we're getting to that time where
It's that time of the day.
yeah. So we're coming up to the point where I'm gonna say I gotta get back to work. But before we do that, I'm gonna go through everyone. I'm gonna call your names individually in the order that I see you on my screen. And if anybody has any final questions or comments or whatever, you can say them. Jack.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. I'll pass. I don't think I have anything
Okay.
this week. That's okay.
No worries.
Thank you, though.
Thank you. Fablo.
Yo, I think the only thing that I'd like to possibly recommend from Adam and Pals as well for a really bad but funny bad movie, having in hysterics. I've just got to find it now. It's the movie with Bruce Willis in it. The most recent, that's really low budget sci-fi movie.
Oh no,
Afterlife.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, Ralph gave that a 1 out of 10.
I've given it I've given it it's a 1 out of 10 for me as well. It was a really bad movie. It's funny as fuck though with how bad it is.
Yeah.
The CGI is bad, the cinematography
is it called
bad,
Afterlife or is it called something else? Hold on.
It's called something else.
Yeah, there's no way it's called
Breach,
Afterlife.
I think.
Breach.
Yeah,
yeah.
and like Bruce Willis is just like a floating hologram. He's only in the movie for like one scene, so he's not even the main character.
There it is. Yeah, Breach looks funny.
Yeah, it's a really it's so bad.
I'll take you anytime.
Bad.
So bad it's bad. Okay.
It's like I was. It's an hour and a half. For me it felt like 3 hours.
So it's not so bad it's good in any way.
No, there's no good.
Why would you ask me to do an Adam and Pals on it then?
Because it'll be funny as fuck. Every single thing is bad of it. You're thinking it's like there's got to be something good to it.
You just want to watch them suffer.
Yeah, I just want to watch.
Maybe.
I want to listen. I want to listen to Guy L suffer.
Adam.
I want to listen to Guy L suffer.
Okay.
Why? What did he do to you?
It's just funny. It's just funny.
He's just a nerd.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Owen.
No probs. But yeah, I think the usual thing I just want to say is like you make my days really good. All
Thank
the time.
you.
Like, it's like whenever I'm in a really dark mood and stuff like that, I'll put on some of your videos and it cheers me up massively. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that very much.
Sean Connery Gandalf would make him suffer.
Oh yeah.
Somebody needs to dub it. Somebody needs to dub Sean Connery into Lord of the Rings now.
Thank you, Owen.
No questions for me, but thanks for doing this once again.
Thank you.
Patreon hangouts are great. Good luck with the Lion King and all other future projects and whatnot. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Christopher.
Have you seen To Batman? Will you see it? And you're gonna do like a short review of it, or is that like
I saw it on Saturday. I'll be talking about it on the podcast when we record that on Monday, and then that will be public the Monday after that. I'll be recording a video of it, but there's a backlog of stuff from that Damo's working on. So currently the Sundance stuff that they're trying to finish up, and then directly after that, I want them to jump into the Oscars Best Pictures review because that one's really time sensitive. I don't want to release that after the actual Oscars takes place. And then after that, then they can work on Batman. So I just haven't recorded it yet. We'll see how I feel. Also, I feel like if I'm going to, it's going to be one of those things where I'm like, hey, it was fine. I didn't love it as much as everyone. It's kind of best to just wait a week anyway when people have calmed down a bit. Like the sooner you release that to the release date, people are just going to be angry. Well, I don't know. Like I haven't. I have to finish recording some other like my the Oscars thing. I have like 5 more minutes left to record of that or whatever, and then I gotta make sure I'm keeping up with the recordings on the Lion King review stuff that I'm doing, and so the Batman isn't like a huge priority at this moment. So
no, it's not the scheduling. It's just you saying that the people will calm down after a week.
Yeah, generally,
the hype.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah. Not completely, but comparatively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Thank you. Jay.
It's Jay.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I was in the hospital recently, and I wanted to say that they allowed me to have an MP3 player, and I listened to a bunch of your podcasts. I want to say thank you for being there for me. And I really appreciate all of you and your friends and Salamander have done in terms of making great content. And you guys are absolutely wonderful. And also the community as well, who's always been very supportive. You did a great job building this wonderful platform for us. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear you're in the hospital, but I'm glad
I'm
that
all
you're
good
not
now.
there. Yeah. Thank you so much. I didn't I don't know who's responsible for the community because I don't know. I didn't make the Discord or anything. I kind of just ignore it. So whatever's going on there is not really my doing, I guess.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask because I looked this up before, but there wasn't really a clear answer. Have you ever played the Outer Wilds? Not to get confused with the Outer Worlds.
I've played like 5 hours of the Outer Wilds, and I'm thinking about maybe getting back to it and finishing it at some point. Yeah, I can't comment too hard on it because I don't feel like I've experienced the bulk of it yet, but there was some cool things. I need an excuse to get back into it, I guess. All right, thank you so much. Kiki.
I'll go at the end if you don't mind.
Kiki?
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, I'll go at the end if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Travis?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the content as usual. Thank you so much for making all the great content. But my question is, you mentioned that you were going to try to watch at least a little of every single nominated thing at the Oscars this year. How's that going?
I've done it except for Writing with Fire, which there's no way to watch until after the Oscars, and also the shorts I haven't done because there's no way for me to watch them yet, and I'm just, I watched a little bit of
They're
everything.
showing them at my theater, thankfully.
Yeah, there'll be a way. In the week before the Oscars, I'll be able to watch the shorts basically. But yeah, I watched everything. A lot of really bad movies. I didn't. A lot of things I stopped like after 15 minutes or whatever, just to see what it was. But I watched Free Guy to the end because it was so cringe that I just had to.
He did it!
Damn it!
Yeah.
He did it. He
Didn't think it was possible, but I did it.
How long did you get into Don't Look Up?
You're stronger than I am.
Well,
Did you like Chris
Don't Look.
Evans's,
I stopped
cameo?
Don't Look Up at like the 20-minute mark, and that's when I tried watching it before it was nominated for Best Picture. And then when it got nominated, and then I was watching everything, I was like, okay, I guess I'll see if I can continue further with this and see what happens at least. I watched the whole thing, but there were parts that I skipped through because it was really boring. So I skipped through probably like half an hour total of the movie. And then the rest of it, I was just kind of like half watching on my phone, but it was really bad.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Watched a movie on your phone.
Yeah,
Your
yeah, it was
telephone.
more productive than if I hadn't been. So
That's fair.
yeah.
I don't
How
know
do you
what
feel about the ending of Don't Look Up? Because I've heard some people praise it for like being ballsy and not taking the coward's way out with this whole natural disaster
Spoiler.
thing. Oh, sorry, God.
It was predictable.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, like whatever.
Boards of Cinema, it's your turn anyway. So
All right, so the first thing I'd like to tell you about is this Chrome extension I found called Return YouTube Dislike. I have it on my browser. It works super well. You can see dislikes again.
Mhm.
I'll post a link to it in chat. Even though I know you can't click on it because I would end this thing.
The current, isn't it like when the current dislike, the like ratio is when it was before it happened, right? It isn't updated.
no, it
they
uses
update it.
information
What?
from people that have the
Yes.
extension.
It works extremely well. I really love it. Definitely.
You know what's
download
funny? It actually also works on channels where the ratings were disabled.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it doesn't work for me. It just says, "Oh, dislikes disabled."
You can sometimes it stops working and needs to be updated. But if you check the certain Kimba videos, you can see the dislikes if you have the extension.
Okay.
It's an extension. It's an extension that works on Opera as well, which is the web browser I use, which is amazing because not a lot of the Google Chrome ones work on Opera, so that's really cool. Thank you.
I just got into that.
And then what else did you? Oh wow, 5-star rating on this.
Yes.
Sure,
So
I'll
like
add
the
it.
next thing I'd like to ask you about is like, since we were kind of discussing Ebert's Passion of the Christ review near the beginning of this hangout, I'd like to ask you if you've read his review of The Last Temptation of Christ. He also gave it a 10.
A 10. I thought he operated in 4 stars.
I mean, like 4 out of 4 stars. Yeah.
Okay.
He loves both of them equally.
Yeah, I didn't
that could be
actually read
worth
that.
Discussing on the podcast. Yeah, could be worth going over and
Sure.
like reading on the podcast and all that. And like the next thing I have to say is that I heard you talking about that Sunder Road trailer with the FX Twin song, over it on the podcast. I very easily found it. It's a really great trailer. But what's very bizarre is that like, the other Thunder Road trailer on Jim Cummings' official channel, at like the 15-second mark, you can start to hear the FX Twin song fade in, but then it abruptly cuts out.
Weird. Yeah, I wonder if it was like a licensing thing. Because the original trailer definitely was on his channel before. That's how I found it. But now it's not.
And yeah, exactly. And some awful like guitar music starts playing over it. You can't even
Yeah,
hear
it's
the
not as
dialogue
good.
anymore, even though it's the exact same footage. It just doesn't have the same emotional impact at all, and it's pretty bad, which sucks.
Yeah, it's not as good, but whatever.
And the last thing I
Oh,
have to ask
crazy.
you
He
about is,
uploaded the trailer in 4K, though, which is more than...
Yes.
And there's...
Yeah, and
looks like there's subtitles.
And the re-uploaded version of the Aphex Twin trailer is also in 4K.
Oh, really?
Very cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
And,
Okay, yeah, so this was posted... The Aphex Twin one was posted a couple years ago, so no wonder I said it's impossible to find, because I probably didn't search for it within the past couple years.
Yeah, it only has 7,000 views,
Yeah.
but it's still really great. All right, and the last thing I have to ask you about is, did you watch all of the movie Cyrano? Maybe I'm pronouncing
No,
that
I didn't
wrong.
watch... I didn't watch the whole movie.
How much of it did you see?
Like
I'm kind of curious.
10
since
minutes?
it's
I don't know.
Pretty popular. Was it boring?
It was boring, and there was, like, very noticeable auto-tune in the singing, and I couldn't
Oh
handle
God, that just gave me flashbacks to like The Greatest Showman. Like every single song had this obnoxious auto tune over it, even though it's supposed to take place in like the 1930s or whatever. That was so
Yeah,
bad.
Peter Dinklage had auto-tune.
Yeah, and it also reminds me of like the Aladdin remake, which they had this awful auto tune over like
Yeah, of course.
A Whole New World.
Will Smith
It made me
and all
want to
that.
die. Oh
Yeah.
God, I hate that trend so much. It needs to die.
Will
Like
Smith
there's
sounded
nothing.
like a robot.
Yeah, everyone did.
When
except-
it comes.
Yeah, like everyone did like the Aladdin remake from what I've seen like
Prince
sounds like a
Ali,
robot doing...
Baba.
everyone in like the Aladdin remake, from what I've seen, sounds like a robot during the singing scenes, except Jasmine, who doesn't have any auto tune. So it's
based on the singer's skill level, really.
Yeah, it's just so jarring to like hear her sing without auto tune, and she's not bad.
Well,
actually.
I think they have auto tune on everybody, but like it's more noticeable when it's on a person who needs it to even hit the note.
Yeah, and they
So.
immediately cut to like Aladdin, who like, and the auto tune for him is like extremely obnoxious. It's so bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with auto tune, but they just like it
shouldn't be
way
noticeable.
Too much. Yeah, it's just
unless it's for stylistic purposes.
Badly, and I hate it. All right, that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you so much, Nico.
Hello. This is my first time here.
Welcome.
This is my first time to the Hangout. I want to say thank you, Adam, for really like the videos that you post. I also really like the Adam Play channels, the Adam Plays channel. I also want to say thank you for pointing out the very corporate and very corporately corrupt nature of Hollywood, especially Disney and the Oscars.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, just a bunch of bullshit.
How could I not complain about it?
I think that they just nominate movies that are like popular based on their campaign and
yeah. I wonder if anybody. So
suck.
I made this statement on the last podcast episode. I said I want someone to figure out the last time a movie was nominated that wasn't explicitly campaigned for. I don't know, like, if anybody can help me figure, I don't have time to research this right now. I just want someone else to do it for me. So I'm just throwing that out there if anybody wants to find that out.
Sometime 1950s, 1960s, because right around the 70s is when you actually had like a lot of money going in and people wanted like actual awards.
Yeah.
But, I can do that and then let you know next week.
Consideration campaign being a norm. Anyway, yeah, thank you.
Consideration campaign.
What else were you saying, Nico?
I want to also say that I try to enjoy drive my car. I thought it was all right. I just think that the pacing was very slow, and I really don't get all the huge campaign behind it. I really think that Worst Person in the World has become an instant classic to me. And
I definitely prefer it. I think Drive My Car is like dependent on how much you connect to the story, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pokemon Man.
Hello, my real name's Edmund.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to say this is also my first time here, and like I actually been following your content for like about a year, and I just want to say that I appreciate the work you do and stuff like that. And I believe that like you represent the type of moviegoer Hollywood tries to ignore, because like it seemed like kind of hard to please when it comes to movies sometimes. But to me, I believe like when you like a movie, like it really represents that like it's a really good movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just I'm glad for that. And also a quick question. Which movie are you looking forward to this year? For me personally, it's what's it called? The one with Doctor Strange. Yeah, Doctor Strange.
The new Doctor Strange?
Yeah, it's coming out in like what is it?
It'll be interesting to see how Raimi tackles it. If I were to pick one movie this year I'm most hyped for, it's The Whale with Darren Aronofsky.
What's The Whale?
Yeah. And Brendan Fraser is returning in his career, and he's playing like a morbidly obese person in the new Darren Aronofsky film, and that just sounds like it's so unbelievably intriguing in premise that I have to like see what it is, you know.
He's in that in the new Scorsese film.
I hope it plays at like TIFF this year. I hope I get to see it like before like a trailer or something.
It
you know?
probably will.
You know what's unfortunate? Those movies you mentioned probably will get a lot of box office money.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Salamander.
I hate this year's nominations.
Me too.
I hate that I've watched Free Guy, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
So fucking painful. They're all so
Holy Trinity.
cancerous.
Don't Look Up getting a Best Picture nomination is like evidence that we're in the wrong timeline.
$10 million.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye being nominated for literally anything.
Will
Oh,
Smith
hold on.
getting what? Will Smith has been nominated for King Richard as an acting in a lead. What?
Yeah.
Come on, got hella snubbed. That should have, like.
It seems like a movie
More-
that could be nominated for some Oscars.
More
I
than
guess.
any other year,
Yeah.
I feel like there's been so many films that have been snubbed. Like,
Maybe this is a part of ABC's strangulation on the Oscars or something. Because they're doing the whole, getting rid of categories. Maybe they were even asking them, like, hey, don't nominate boring, like, movies that nobody watches. It has to be
Yeah.
popular movies.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
who knows?
Salamancer, did you leave?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I just had to get the door.
Mm.
I live in an apartment. People have to be buzzed in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Eyes of Tammy Faye felt like a student project.
I didn't make it very far.
badly made.
I didn't make it very far.
It's very, very badly made.
Yeah.
I even noticed like audio issues, like really bad audio editing.
Mm-hmm.
Atrocious.
Not good.
I was looking forward to it too.
Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon being nominated for animated is also very upsetting.
Oh, that was lame too.
When there's like I don't know, even that like Netflix Mount Everest movie, like
The Summit of the Gods.
yeah, like
Did you watch that?
I watched the first 20 minutes and I had friends over that I wanted to see, so I stopped, but I'll get back to it. It was good from what I saw. I didn't stop watching because I was bored. I was just preoccupied.
Yeah, I thought it was all right, but
Yeah,
they
I mean,
definitely
all
deserved
right
it
is
a bit.
better than atrocious, which is what
Exactly. That's what I'm
Raya.
saying.
That's
It's
what
like
I
it
yeah.
deserved it better than
Crypto
that.
Zoo. If they were cool, they could nominate that, but they're not cool. So
Honestly, the worst part of Raya was the dragon itself. Her personality is extremely.
the entire
grating.
movie is just embarrassing. There's nothing about it that's good.
So, Adam, if you want to know about Oscar campaigning, it says that generally campaigning has been a thing the whole time just to kind of get movies out there, but it required little effort. It wasn't until the 90s when a specific man by the name of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
what a
I should have
surprise.
known.
noted good
Aggressive-
person.
Who?
Well-rounded person.
Yeah, he started aggressively like over campaigning to the point where he would take all of his movies and basically pay people to watch them.
Yikes.
And pay people, not only, but also pay people to put in people's mailboxes. So
That's great.
However, the only thing I'd like to
Weird.
possibly just take from that is that the problem is with Harvey Weinstein being so disparaged as this horrible person and so on, is that coming from reliable sources or that's just coming from anybody just going, oh yeah, he paid me to go see his movies?
Yeah.
Because it's like, because after all, Quentin Tarantino was working around that time. Like, we don't know if Quentin Tarantino was paying people. We don't know if other people were paying people. But because they're not as disparaged as denounced as Harvey Weinstein, nobody's coming out and attacking him. With Harvey Weinstein, it's just like, well, we could just use him as a scapegoat now.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, possibly.
I think it's like this is not like a dedicated answer. You have to pick up
Yeah.
and like take puzzle pieces and put
Of
them
course,
together.
yeah.
It sounds
Quentin-
interesting. I might look into it.
Like Tarantino's talked about his relationship with Weinstein, and basically it was the day he got like put into jail, completely different person. It was like, this is who I thought he was. This is who he actually is.
Okay. All right. Was that Salamancer? Were you done?
The person he actually is someone who appears to use a walker.
Hmm.
Suddenly, for no reason. Yes, I'm done.
All right, Augie.
Hi. Thank you so much for the great content. It's always a highlight of the day. And I just wanted to ask, you've seen Last Temptation of Christ, right?
Yeah.
So this is something I've always actually wanted to watch, but I've not really that well versed in the whole like subject matter of it all.
Mhm.
So I was wondering if like, you have to be like
No.
that well versed.
No, it's clear about what it's communicating, and it presents things in a more thoughtful way than if you were just getting like the scripture, you know.
Right. Okay, great. 'Cause I
Yeah,
actually
it's
really
not
wanted to
like a
watch this.
perfect movie. Like Harvey Keitel is in there with basically like a New Yorker accent, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. There's some good stuff in it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good
Also, I want to
soundtrack.
ask, have you seen this new horror movie called Fresh that came
It's
out?
horrendous. It's awful. I saw it at Sundance. It'll be in the video of. I already recorded my review. Why? What's up? Did you
'Cause
like
that
it?
just came out on Hulu. No, it just came out on Hulu, and I actually really wanted to watch it. But I mean, I'm still
It's
gonna watch it.
horrendous. You can watch it. It's really bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I actually really love bad horror, but yeah.
It's
I don't know.
it's atrocious. It's not good.
Well,
Is
as
it as
always,
bad as
thank-
Creep?
Yeah.
It's technically
actually
better
really
than
like
Creep.
Yeah. But as always, thank you so much for the great content.
Thank you. All right, Machine.
I don't really have anything specific to say other than just it's fun hanging out.
Thank you. No worries.
And yeah, no, I enjoy both the movie and the video game content.
Thank you so much. If everybody enjoys the video game content, share with your friends. We need to boost that channel up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that a lot of I mean, and it's not obviously the main type of humor, but in general, furry humor is lost on the masses.
Well, the market's only going to increase, so
That is true.
with every year, it's a bigger pool.
Yeah.
You got me.
You're in it for the long investment.
Kiki.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I got a couple things I thought I could talk about.
Mhm.
First one, I was surprised it didn't really come up this meeting, but I had a number of thoughts on the Batman, and like, I really wish I could love it more, and I really don't see like a whole lot of people who sort of had the same feeling as me.
Mhm.
And like, I'm pretty sure I actually rated it lower than you did.
Yeah. I almost feel like
like-
maybe I should give it a 5. I'm like thinking about it. Maybe that'll help. You know, if in a week from now I remember even less from it.
It's like the only thing I really liked about it was Robert Pattinson was great. Paul Dano was fucking awesome. But it's like other than that, the script was bad.
Does Paul Dano
was
get beat
awful.
up?
Sorry?
Does Paul Dano get beat up?
I'm not gonna say anything just in case anyone hasn't seen anything.
That would explain why it's
Terrible.
good.
Yeah.
I
He
thought
gets
Robert-
beat up a lot, doesn't he, Paul Dano?
Yeah, he does.
I have a video about that.
Yeah, and then like yeah, it's like I didn't like the script. The cinematography was mediocre. Whoever was in charge of
Seriously?
lighting should be executed.
Yeah.
I thought it looked really nice visually. It was.
Yeah.
I thought it looked
know.
maybe needed a bit more variety, but I guess that they were going for something that was just going to be like this, you know, really similarly toned the entire film. I thought it like when I watched the trailer, I didn't see, you know, the visuals looking great. But in the context of the film, when it's like, okay, this is just the tone that they're going for, it was like, okay. Because like I don't know, it's a very different lighting and general visual composition than the other films that Matt Reeves has made. So it seems like it's pretty intentional. I thought that it worked for what it was visually. That would be like one of the things I do like about it. But I just think
feel
it's
like it
just
could've,
way
like-
too one note and flat and stale the entire movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I feel like they could have done a bit more with like shadows and like contouring as far as like lighting is concerned, like with the
There were a lot of
crack-
shadows. Like
Yeah, I know, but like controlling them properly. Like if you look at what like the Green Knight did, I know that's more with like natural lighting, but it felt a bit more like controlled there. than it should have been here. Like you could have done something a bit cooler with like the cracked in lighting that there was a lot of in this movie. But I just don't feel like they did that. And I like the theme song too, but it was
You can't do that for 3 hours, I agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't
like,
matter how many
my letter-
variations, it's only like 2 notes.
Yeah, it's like my letterboxed review was just bah, 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 bah.
Yeah,
just
it's
copy pasted for like the
you
whole
can't
thing.
do that the whole movie. It becomes
it's like
I
what-
liked the score at the beginning. I liked the score an hour into it. I no longer enjoyed the score by the end of the film.
Yeah, like
it's like how
I
you
was
pointed
just-
out in the Indiana Jones review on the podcast. You said just like the first movie was just literally they used the same theme.
They were spamming it.
Like, they were spamming it
all
over
the
and over
time.
again. Yeah.
Oh, careful!
so-
Don't say anything bad about Indiana Jones. The son will get mad.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
My
it's
2
like-
followers are going to unfollow me.
Yeah, it's like you can have a recurring theme and make it work. Like, look at what Synecdoche, New York did. Like, it has a few themes,
Yeah.
but they space them out properly. They're used very effectively.
And they're also used thematically. As in,
Yeah,
like they're
exactly.
they're written for certain characters or situations that come back into play, and they're associated. You know.
Even Star Wars does it correctly.
Yeah, it was really just the same song over and over again, and then also some Nirvana.
Yeah, and then
And some Nirvana.
the other thing was I saw you saw Macbeth, and
Yeah.
like I was wondering like if you shared the sentiment of like there were times where I felt like the black and white was used as a crutch.
I would say like most movies that decide to do black and white, you know, inevitably fall into that category to some degree. But from what I saw of this movie, I didn't really feel that way. I thought that it was just going for a very specific aesthetic, and I thought that it really did a great job with it. I thought the visuals in Macbeth were great. I'm pretty sure out of all the ones nominated for cinematography, like I'm probably rooting for that one.
Yeah,
I'd say
agree.
so too, but I'm mostly referring to just like there were a couple scenes in the movie, like that wide shot of the castle. It looked really, really fake in my opinion. And same with the scene on the bridge. And
Yeah, I watched about an hour of the
Yeah.
movie. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't get behind the dialect.
I
but
agree.
I'm glad
I
I
agree 100%.
I'm glad I got to see what it was, and there's things I appreciated
Glad you
about
gave it a
that-
shot, though.
Yeah, how could I not?
It was hard to connect with anything that was going
the
on.
Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't deny
They
that it
They
looks
fucked
good.
up the they fucked up the what you eggs scene. It was so cheesy.
I don't even know what that is.
Is that like a,
What
a
you
Macbeth
egg?
scene? Like an iconic scene from that?
I'm
the
so
what you
there's
egg line.
I'm not familiar with a lot of Shakespeare. And
Yeah.
I realistically I should be. You know, like I remember parts of it in like school. Obviously, you know, The Lion King's Hamlet, so that's the one I'm the most familiar with, but yeah, the most Shakespeare I don't connect with that much, and I'm not super familiar with, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think
Don't care.
Shakespeare's taught well in school, anyways. But that's a whole other
No,
can of worms that I won't get into.
It really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Even in England, we don't care about Shakespeare anymore. It's more focused on it's more focused on literature like Of Mice and Men and Lord of the Flies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for everything.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, that about does it. I'm going to end this stream and then start back up my editing stream, but I'm not going to do that right away. I'm just going to I don't know, maybe take like a nap. I have to make a phone call too, so I'll be back on in like an hour or something. We'll
have
be
fun
doing
with
some
that.
Lion
Awesome.
King editing.
Fun.
Yep. Continuing the
Yeah, I guess that's this month then. That's
the
coming up.
tragedy of John Favreau.
that perfectly timed. the
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Who did that?
You're welcome.
Someone's text. Yeah. All right. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for the support. I'll catch you next.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, Adam.
Bye-bye.
See you later.